Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fire. This is the Pyro Podcast, episode 22 of the 2013 offseason. This is show 84 overall, and I'm really excited for this podcast. And this one, as you know, we're going to continue our mock draft mania, and we're going to do our third installment of that, and we're going to do a new league set. And in this league, it's going to be a 10-team. It's going to be a standard style of play, and it's going to have PPR, so standard scoring and PPR, and we're going to be using a flex position in this one. So, we're going to do 8 rounds, and as usual, I've got to my left Houdini, and across the way from me, I got Dogmatica. I'm D-Rex. We are Pyromaniac.com, and excited to do our last installment of Mock Draft Mania, and we'll do some Pyro promotions throughout this podcast, and also tell you about what next week's podcast is going to be. It's one of the few weeks where we actually know what we're going to be doing next week, and have it be new and fresh. So, what's up, Houdini? How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. It was a fun weekend. Good to be ready for football, which starts in 1 week. We get games, and then we have football through February.
It starts on Sunday.
Yeah, on
less
Sunday.
than a week.
Miami at Dallas.
Yeah,
we get to see Des Bryant and all the talk about him. We get to see Mike Wallace in the new uniform. We get to see that whole revamped Miami team. Should be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Last year, I remember the Hall of Fame game. My TV wasn't working. So out of the blue, I had to. I was like, "Oh my God, there's a game on tonight!" So like an hour before the game, I drove to Best Buy and bought a TV. So thank God I won't have to do that again this year. But
it's
once
still
starts,
sitting there,
and it works. So, yeah,
the other one's still sitting there doing nothing.
Not sitting there; it's hung there.
One's on the ground.
The one that's on the ground is the one that works. That's awesome. But yeah, so fired up
just to see
once
football
starts, and then we got it for like the next 5 months.
It would be nice to see some games getting played instead of guys getting hurt in camp. It would be nice, not nice that they get hurt, but I'd rather be in a game than in practice the way it's been going.
So there have been some injuries. We'll talk about them briefly and the repercussions of that. Let's go with Pitta first, who's the highest ranked guy that got hurt this weekend. He's anybody's top 10 tight end. What happens here? Who moves into the slot? They got Shanko or whatever, but what's going to happen here at the tight end position?
Well, I mean, Ed Dixon will obviously take over that specific position. He's obviously not as mobile. He's a bigger guy. He doesn't move as well, but he'll take over that position. I don't think that is what's going to be affected the most. I think who gets affected the most is Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Flacco obviously, was dependent on Pitta for quite some time. What they're going to do is they're going to start running the ball a little more, and thank God they have a Bernard Pierce who has bulked up and not lost a single step. He's somebody to be feared this year. Obviously, Ray Rice is an incredible player, but I think they're going to run the ball so much that I think Pierce is going to be valuable this year, not just as a backup, not just as a handcuff, but I think he's going to be playable at some point this year as a flex or maybe even
and just look for both him and Ray Rice to be extremely active in the passing game, because you're going to need to have those guys lined up. You're going to probably see a lot of those times this year, those guys lined up in the backfield together.
Yeah.
And then you're going to split one of them out into a passing route, and you're going to use that person maybe to be as you were asking, slot type guy. So it could be interesting in PPR leagues, which we'll find out here soon.
Well, I bet you they would have wished they would have had that 6th round pick back that they got for Anquan Bolden.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know.
$6 million contract, like he was like so expensive.
I'm interested in the family reunion with the Harbaughs there, seeing what happens with that one.
Jim Harbaugh is going to give his younger brother or older brother, I don't know who's younger.
Oh, yeah, Jim's younger.
Older brother, $500,000 under the table for letting him beef up his team with Bolden for a 6th rounder. Give me a break. Bolden is not that past his prime.
And he's kicking ass in OT.
And he's a badass. He's perfect. So the other guy, Macklin. Bummer for him. Pitta's in a contract year and Macklin's in a contract year. It's got to suck for those guys. But what do you think, Dog? What happens? Who's most highly affected the wide receiver position first? I think it's this Riley Cooper guy, but Houdini kind of thinks it's Avant. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I think they have so many receivers that are not quite starter caliber. I think it's going to take a couple of preseason games to figure out, and a bit of camp just to figure out exactly who's going to rise to the top. Obviously, Demarcus Johnson is a name to remember as well, although he plays more of the same position as Deshaun. He's a playmaker type guy.
I love that guy. You guys know I love him. I drafted him in all my leagues last year, and that's because I saw him play at Toledo, and he was just a badass.
Yeah,
real small, like jitterbug. But I remember watching this guy play a couple games when their passing attack was awesome. Was it Toledo or was he at Pitt? One of those two.
Yeah, it was one of those two. I can't remember exactly.
I think it was the same coach. They came from Toledo and coached Pitt. But if he was on Toledo, they had a few years of high octane offense, and he was this awesome player.
I'm not up at my Toledo.
Yeah,
I'm not either.
There's a couple other names to just remember, and we'll see what happens again. Like I said, in camp and in preseason games. But Aurelius Ben, they traded for Aurelius Ben this year. We'll see if he can actually live up to his draft status a couple of years ago. And a new guy that you guys probably don't know about is a Russell Shepard. Now, supposedly he was lighting it up all OTAs and everything, and he's been lighting up in camp so far. We'll see if that's an effect. We'll see about that one.
You want to know what gets affected? I'm not enamored by anybody on Philadelphia anymore. You still got a battle going on right now. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Is it going to be Nick Foles? Is it going to be Michael Vick? Well, they haven't made any of those decisions, so this is like just more complete. It's a weird camp that they got going on right now. Now it's basically open competition for every position in camp there.
Does this make you guys like the Shady McCoy more or less?
I like him more.
I like him. I mean, he's still going to have to be the focal point of what they're doing now, especially without Mac.
What about Brent Selleck?
Selleck's the blocker.
What about Zach Ertz?
I like what Ertz is doing.
Ertz, I think, is the guy that I moved him up majorly on my latest version.
Well, he was affected because he had a late graduation over at Stanford. So, I mean, he was a little bit behind, but he got into camp, and it looks like he's doing great. So
my problem with that is that I don't like either of the quarterbacks as red zone efficient quarterbacks. So I don't see a lot of touchdowns for Ertz because of that.
Yeah, well, I like a James Casey here, actually, because James Casey can move all over the place. When he was in Houston, he was playing as an H-back, he was playing as a tight end. He was one of those type of guys who can, even be in the backfield a little bit, block a little bit on the side, or even catch passes. They didn't sign him for like $5 million a year for no reason. They signed him way too early, so they overpaid. They didn't know exactly what was going on, and they could have gotten him probably for $2 million less a year. I'm telling you, at the end of free agency, everybody knew you overpaid for that guy. But he's good. He's a lot better than people think. I think that guy actually is going to, probably get a boost with this Macklin loss. I think he's a good player to watch for.
Last thing to mention, also we got Percy Harvin, who is going for a second opinion, so we'll find out more tomorrow. Whether the news is good or bad. So
I think an important thing to mention in this hurt during these camps is the center for the Broncos.
Oh, right.
They're down two guys. Yeah, Coppin just went out, and that's after their original first guy went down. Yeah. And Peyton Manning, that's an important thing for the quarterback. And just because Peyton was able to stand the whole season last year does not mean that the number one concern with that guy is if he just gets rattled by a guy, by one of these houses, he could be hurt. He could hurt his.
And you don't pick up guys off the street to be center that can just play in Peyton Manning's check, Omaha, blue.
Exactly. you might need to get one of those that computer system they got from the Buick commercial.
Yeah, come on, catch the ball. You suck.
Go spend 20 minutes in the Porta John.
One thing I noticed though is, and there's no way it could happen, but someone's like, "Is Jeff Saturday going to come out of retirement?"
No.
Have you guys seen him on the NFL Network?
Yeah. He is not.
I'm bigger than he is.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. That guy literally lost 80 pounds.
Yeah, he already said that he's not coming out of retirement. Yeah. I'm not worried about that. But there actually are some guys on the street that they could pick up. There are some decent centers. And center isn't the biggest position to worry about when it comes to protecting Manning, so I'm not that worried about it. If they were tremendously worried, they would have gone after a frontline center in the first place. Yeah, Coppin's good. Don't get me wrong; he's a good player. But him going down is not the biggest deal in the world for Manning. I still think the Broncos will be fine without a top-notch center.
Awesome, guys. Well, the one thing I want to do a pyro promo here is the fact that we have our thing called Newsfeed on the website now, and it is our own newsbreakers where we take these stories and these news bits and we are putting them out on a daily basis, multiple a day. We're trying to be very, very prolific and on top of our news feed. So Pyro is now writing our own news bits. We're not using just the RSS feed like we had in previous years. So please check that out on a continual basis, a couple times a day or whatever, and get the latest updates on player news and newsbreakers. And they're written, and we give the overview of the news, and then we give our take on it. And it's all fantasy focused. I'm really proud of the way you guys have been writing those ones up, and I learn a lot in that space. It's kind of everyday kind of thing, for Pyro. So let's do this draft. We've got a lot of solid feedback by people saying, "Wow, it's awesome that you guys are doing the draft real time on air," and I've never heard that before. People talk about their draft after they've done it. So again, us pioneering and doing some fun stuff. So awesome. I'm
going to win this week.
They'll get it.
This week I'm winning the championship. So mock draft, 10-man league, standard scoring system. It has a PPR layer to it, 1 point per catch, and we're also going to do a flex position. We're going 8 rounds in this, and in this one we've got Houdini's got the first pick, Dogmatica's got the second pick, I have the third pick, and then we cycle it around where Houdini picks 4th, 5th, 6th, Dog picks 5th, 6th. You'll hear it as we go along. So I like to name each one of my teams, but I have no idea what they are yet. I implore you guys and hope that you guys will do the same.
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah. All right, got my tiers out. Let's do this.
All right.
Pick number 1.
Pick number 1. I'll figure out my team name as I go along. You got to get an identity first.
Yeah.
But I think this is a no-brainer. He'll go first in every draft this year. Adrian Peterson. You don't have to say nothing.
and you could leave a bit of blank air right there because it's a no-brainer with that guy. The guy has already said he's going to go for 2,500 yards. I kind of believe him. I don't know why.
I believe him.
Yeah, I do. I don't know why, but I'm going to believe him.
Do you remember those games last year with Adrian Peterson where it was kind of obvious that he was having an insane year, and it was just like I wonder if it was the leg injury that teams were almost wanted him to do it and were rooting for him or something. But do you remember just every game it'd be like, we're just going to lock in on Peterson, and then he would still rip off 220-yard games.
He was so motivated last year.
He's impossible to take down. People are scared of that guy. Like just running after him like, take it.
They should be. He hurts you when he hits you. I wouldn't have wanted to tackle Earl Campbell. I wouldn't have wanted to, tackle Franco Harris. I wouldn't have wanted to tackle Larry Zonka. I would not want to tackle Adrian Peterson because he tries to hurt you every time he goes into you.
I hope that guy can stay healthy and play way past his 30s because he literally is, to me, the closest thing we've had to like a LeBron or a Jordan in the NFL at that position in a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of the horses that have come out in previous years, like Emmitt Smiths and guys like that, he's awesome, but he's not a horse. He just had the best situation ever, great player, but just kind of right place, right time kind of deal.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Dogmatica.
All right.
First pick, second team.
The last couple of drafts we have gone pretty much in the same order here. And it's becoming a real close call for me at this point because I know a lot of people are down on Trent Richardson because of all the injury talk and everything. But I'm telling you right now, this guy is going to be a horse. He is going to get the ball. He's going to carry the ball at least 300 times. And he's going to catch, I think, at least 60 passes this year. But I'm not going to go with him. I'm going with the Doug Martin still. I still believe that Doug Martin is the guy to beat in that second spot. He's got an easy as hell schedule. Cleveland has a much tougher schedule to run through. I just got to give it to Doug Martin right there. That's the one to go with.
Well, I'm going to make...
especially PPR.
I'm going to make Houdini really happy with this pick because he's going to be shocked that his fourth team is going to be able to get a guy he loves. But my latest tiers, I actually have tier 1 as a grouping of 4, and that can change. It might go back to AP, but I got 4 guys in my tier 1. I think all these guys could easily be the best running back this year, and all are going to have huge opportunities. And so as a result, I'm actually going to take my third-ranked running back right now, and I'm just high on this guy. Just reading a lot, looking at him, is CJ the Thriller Spiller.
Yep.
I just think that this guy...
Knew that was coming.
I just think this guy can just, and that explosion fact for us, Trent Richardson, I had him on my team last year. He took me to the Super Bowl on 2 teams that I had him on. Love the guy. I was a big fan last year. Had him. We all liked him last year. Love that he played hurt, but he is a slow and steady kind of guy where he's going to have a touchdown and 111 yards. I just don't see...
I don't agree.
Okay, that's fine. And I think that's great. But you think he's going to be knocking off 180-yard games and like 3 touchdown games next year?
I think he's going to have, where... I bet you he'll probably have about at least 8... Half of his games will be 100-yard rushing games. And I bet you he probably has combined yardage, probably like maybe 5 games over 150 yards.
Wow. Okay. So, you might be right.
I agree.
I love the guy. I just don't think he's going to be putting up. I don't think he's going to be breaking the long ones like I think a Spiller would. I think that at the end of the year, I think Spiller's stats will be a little bit better, but they're both going to be amazing. But what I like about Spiller is that fact where you're going to get a couple 220-yard games where he just like rattles off an 80-yarder in the second quarter, and you're just like, he's going to get that. Where I just don't think the explosion-wise, Trent Richardson has that. And that's why I'm going to go with Spiller in that one.
All right, so now it comes to me, and I'll take Trent Richardson. And now here's why I say I'm happier to have Richardson, because this is not an explosion-type league. We're in a standard scoring league. And all touchdowns are 6 points. So the one thing that I do know is that Trent Richardson proved in a horrendous offense that he was in last year that he could score touchdowns. So I like the fact that in Norv Turner and Chudzinski's offense that he's really going to be a guy that I think is going to be probably the closest thing on a bad team that you've seen to Adrian Peterson since he came into the league. So
I fully agree. And you know what? I think the difference...
Scoring touchdowns.
There's been a lot of talk
that
about
explosion, 90-yard runs.
There's been a lot of talk about CJ Spiller maybe getting, and I think this is way overblown, but they're talking about him getting maybe 30 touches a game. I think that's bullshit. There's no way he's getting 30 touches a game, but I know they're going to try and get him more. But he still won't have as many touches as Trent Richardson. This is Norvell Turner we're talking about here. This is the Chudzinski offense that gears towards the running back, not just running the ball a ton, but catching the ball a ton as well. I think that Trent Richardson has a real opportunity to have the most touches in the league this year. And if he does, even though he's got a tough-as-nails schedule, he's going to put up the points.
Yep.
So I'm with it.
Good call.
All right. This also being a PPR league, I have to go with another running back. And when it comes to PPR, I think you really got to be thinking running backs in this first round. I'm going to go with the Jamal Charles.
And that's who I figured you were going to take Trent Richardson ahead of me, and I'm taking Jamal Charles, who has basically become my favorite running back. He kind of has been my favorite running back since he came into the league. I just love the guy.
I love him too.
And I've never had him on a fantasy league, and so I'm hoping that people in my league this year are not paying well attention to what I'm doing, and whether he slips to me later in the first round, because I won't know what my draft pick is until later, or if I'm up in the front and if I'm sitting there at number 4 or something, I'm easily grabbing a Jamal Charles.
Well, a handful of years ago, I'm in a league where you have to start one rookie. It's the rookie slot, which I would suggest everybody considering doing, because it's a great league to have. I had Jamal Charles that year, and he wasn't all that, but he was fun to watch. I mean, my goodness, is that guy fun to watch.
And we've already said in our previous podcast.
Is that who you just took?
Yeah.
I did.
And what we believe in Andy Reid's offense, seeing what LaShawn McCoy did, knowing that, and it's under the radar for him because wasn't asked to do that in the previous offense. And now you have a quarterback in Alex Smith who is also a quarterback that has propensity to dump it down to avoid throwing the interception.
And a propensity to have his coaches limit the offensive game plan to keep it safe.
Good for Charles.
Yeah, good for Charles.
Kansas City is going to try and throw the ball more, but yes, Alex Smith is that type of quarterback, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you got?
All right. My next pick here is going to be, all right, I'm going Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, that was coming. It's a good one. That's a good one. When it comes to PPR, got to tell you, it's tough. I know I've said my piece against Calvin Johnson in the first round, but it was just a hair piece, so it was fake. It was a hair. Yeah. Nice one. I like that. But when it comes to PPR leagues, he's undeniable at this point. He's one of those type of guys. He's going to catch you 100 passes and do his normal, close to 2,000 yards, and he's going to put the touchdowns up this year. I like the pick.
You know what I like? I was watching NFL Network, essentially, mostly with the volume on and it's distraction background music, and information, but watching it a lot too. They kept repeating the same thing over and over and over again. It was actually some pretty poor network production there. But Calvin was saying how he's like, I shouldn't have to live up to last year's stats. Which while other people are like, I'm going to get 2,500 yards and they're going like this, he's like, I don't have to live up to last year's stats. Like completely just saying, don't worry, I'm going to get to where I can get, and I want to get higher than you. But he's like, I don't need to do better than last year. A realist. Yeah, no, I think he's just perfectly just saying, I got you. My expectations for me are a lot higher than your expectations are.
Yeah, you don't need to know. I got it. Yeah. I got it covered.
Well, all right, so now it's my pick after Calvin Johnson, and this is where I'm actually kind of happy because I still get a running back that I want. And it's a PPR league, I understand, and I'm not going for the PPR back. And I'm instead going to take Marshawn Lynch. And especially now that I don't know what the situation is with Percy Harvin, but if Percy Harvin, for whatever reason, is not 100% healthy, then you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be, once again, the Marshawn Lynch show when they get into the red zone. And we saw how beast mode can take over at the end of last season. And I wouldn't be surprised if you do see him dabble and get a few catches. It's not really his game, but at the same time, here's a steady force. I feel confident that he's got at least one more really good year in him, and I think this is a good spot to take him.
No, I mean, I agree that the guy is, obviously, he's a beast. But I'm not so sure about him this year. I'll tell you that I'm
a lot more sure about him than the guy that I didn't take.
Which would be...
Which you can make your pick if you're going to take him.
Actually...
we can debate the two of
them. We could, but knowing that there's a wraparound coming up real soon here, I'm not too worried about it because there's a few guys right here that I could take. You know what? I'm going to go balls out. I'm going to take a Dez Bryant.
Wow.
I think that Dez Bryant has... it's a top of the line.
Endless possibilities.
He's got one of the easiest schedules in the league. Supposedly he's been dominating all camp. He's been dominating all off season.
Things are clicking.
Yeah,
things are clicking.
Yeah, the guy is going to be the next Calvin Johnson, pretty much, and that's what he's becoming right now.
I think he's going to be a lot bigger than Calvin Johnson. I think this guy is like the next episode. 84. 84. You said Calvin or Andre?
Calvin.
Okay, but I think he's more of a Sterling Sharp in honor of episode.
There we go. I like that, but not bigger than Calvin Johnson.
No,
you meant Andre.
Gotcha. Yeah. I heard Andre. Calvin's a beast. Good pick with Dez right there.
All right. So what do you got?
This is my pick. Hold on, I'm filling in these sheets. Something you should do. Know real time who's being picked in any draft you're doing. Know who's what teams have what. People that do not know the surroundings with the fantasy teams and what other teams in their league real time have on their squad and who they may or may not take are doing themselves huge disservice. Also knocking out the players that are being picked and circling the ones that I'm taking on my tiers. Trying to give a little insight on what we're doing as well.
Absolutely.
I always think about Houdini's line. We don't want to catch you the fish. We want to teach you how to fish.
Right. We don't want to catch you the fish.
We don't want to catch you the fish.
I didn't know I became Italian.
I went Italian. Taylor Street on us. All right. Noonan. Team number 3.
You were going to take Dez Bryant because you were Mr. Wide Receiver.
No, but I'm happy with this pick. I'm taking Arian Foster.
That's what I'm drinking, baby. That's what I was.
And that was the guy who I didn't want to take when I took Marshawn Lynch.
But Arian Foster at 9, good pick, especially in PPR. Good pick.
You can't argue that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to get as injured as much as you guys do.
My argument is the injury factor. My argument is the tailing down, the tapering down of his carries and his workload. I'm telling you.
Do I think his career is going to be over next year?
He's still injured right now. He's still injured right now.
Yeah,
he's not even playing yet. So I'm really worried about that guy this year. And he was one of the guys, we talked about it, I think about 7 episodes ago, who were your busts this year. Arian Foster was one of mine. Yep. Percy Harvin was one of mine. Look what's happening, boys. I don't know.
But it's hard. You don't want to live your life based on injury right now.
Well, I hate to say it. Neither of them were really injured back when I said it. But I said that Foster would get injured. I said that Harvin would get injured. There they are. They're both injured right now.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, so now you set me up here on a wraparound. And I'm actually really happy because I'm glad you took Foster, because if he was on the board, I would have had to take him. Just because of, again, the value of where he is at that point in time. And I'm glad I don't have to. And I want to go with... I'm going with the younger gun, and then I'm going with the PPR, who is going to be the super gem this year. And I got a little data on this to back me up.
All right.
Alfred Morris was my first pick. Mm-hmm. You know I love Alfred Morris.
I know you do.
And with my second pick, Matt Forte.
Oh, I thought you were going Rice.
No. Now, here's why. You think about what Trestman has done for his running backs, and I want to highlight one guy in particular, because there's something that one of his running backs did in 2002 in Oakland.
Charlie Garner.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I had to throw it out there.
And Charlie Garner had 91 receptions in Trestman's offense. 91 receptions for 941 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Garner also had 962 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. You know, so you talk about 1,903 yards from scrimmage and 11 touchdowns for Charlie Garner. Now I think Matt Forte has more skills than Charlie Garner, so that's exciting. And the other
Garner was an explosive dude.
That was late in his career too. Yeah. He only played.
He was sturdy.
2 more years after that.
You know who Garner was like body wise? Garrison Hurst and Frank Gore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Well, he also played for the 49ers for a little bit there, but. The big thing is that I think that he has to play Forte hardcore. He has to get him the ball a ton. That was one of the whispers this last week, is that the reason why Lovie Smith got fired is because he wasn't able to use Forte the way that he should have been.
And the only last thing we can say, because I know we talk about it a lot, but when Trestman said when he came to the Bears is that he looked, especially at the film from 2010, and loved what Forte was doing, being lined up all over the field. Mike Tice became the offensive coordinator, and everything got scaled back, and that was taken away. What they're doing currently right now in the first few days of camp is they have him moving all over the field.
All over the place.
So expect a multitude of catches for one of Matt Forte. There, I'll give you the Italian.
Nice. I like that. But here's another thing, just with tiers, I think is awesome. And it makes me, I like Forte more than where he is on my tiers as well. But I'm crossing off guys that are way lower. And I think it's a good pick. I think all the reasons you said are right. But the beautiful thing about tiers, I'm crossing off guys that I have 8 running backs ahead of Matt Forte.
Well, you're also crossing off, I hate to say it, not on the PPR list.
Good point.
The PPR is very different with the Forte.
Good point. That's a very good point.
Especially if he gets 91 catches.
But still, yeah, there's still a bunch of guys that I would take here over Forte.
Sure.
Still a good pick, but I'm just saying that's why tiers are awesome.
Which is great, because now you'd
be doing the same with me.
Well, no, and now it's your pick right now. And then what's great about it is that you've seen me take guys that I'm valuing higher than you. And this happens in all of our drafts.
As you should.
And now you're going to be happier with your backup pick for Arian Foster here, because I didn't take the guy that you were worried about.
I'm interested. What do you got?
I'm going with Jimmy Graham.
Ooh, interesting. I like that. Wow. With the Pitta injury and Gronkowski being iffy as hell, there's one guy that's absolutely the one, and that's it, and that's Jimmy Graham. When you get to the next tier, it's starting to thin out a little bit.
Oh, it's especially because, if Gronkowski was healthy, then there's an argument there. But without Gronkowski being 100% healthy, Jimmy Graham is far and away leaps and bounds ahead. And the other thing that you have to remember is last year they didn't get to play under Sean Payton. That was a whole discombobulated team. Payton's back in the fold now. Everybody's happy. No one's paying attention to them anymore. Good for Jimmy Graham. And they're also he's going to get a long-term contract there. They said they want to they want to figure this out before the end of the season, and they want to make him a Saint for the rest of his career.
Yep, absolutely.
No reason not to. Thank you.
Wow. All right, so I got a crazy one maybe coming here. PPR league. I got what? Des Bryant on this one?
You do.
Got Des Bryant, and I got my choices here. I could, and probably should maybe go running back, but I may go elite again when it comes to wide receivers, and when it comes to PPR. Fuck it, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with the running back. Give me a LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy is going to dominate PPR this year. I can't deny. You got to get that running back now. It's a long time before it comes back to me. I got to get it now.
Long time before it comes back to you, and the simple fact that if you don't, you only need to start 2 wide receivers. So
exactly.
At that point in time, you're going to be left so thin, and what your flex is going to end up being. Yeah,
that's exactly.
You can't do that.
Got to get.
You're going to be left thinner than that toupee that you were wearing earlier, the hairline. But I'm the one that really should be wearing a toupee.
Yeah,
my dad actually wore a toupee because he was an actor, and he would have gigs all the time where he had to have hair. You know, he'd go to auditions and he'd put on his toupee. And my buddy listener, awesome, Bob's, he would never be listening to this, but was over at my house one time, and we were all in the kitchen, the whole family, and I was like, he used to put it on the coffee maker, on the old Mr. Coffee. The toupee would be sitting there. I was used to it, but he's like, oh, what's that? What's this? And he like grabbed it, and then he looked at my dad's head, bald head, and he goes, oh. And he puts it back. I swear to God, he's like, what's this thing? Looks at my dad's head, everyone in the family's dying, and he's like, oh, and puts it back.
That's phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Toupees. One of you guys is wearing a Merkin.
I was about to tell a story about a Merkin, but I'm going to leave that one out.
If you don't know what a Merkin is, look it up. It's great. Who do you need?
I don't know what a Merkin is.
I can tell by the look on his face.
I know what a Dickie is. I don't know what a Merkin is.
A Merkin's a great piece of equipment for certain people. It is a toupee for the private area.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Toupee for the private area. I mean, how times have changed. At this point, everyone seems to shave their private areas. Merkin sales are way down.
Yeah, and I had a story. My story was about a girl that I knew in grade school who used to.
If you used a Merkin, could you get a Merkin? Like a permanent?
Oh, jeez.
The Merkin.
The Merkin. Oh, God, we got to move on.
All right.
Toupees to Merkins. Wow.
So I have my first team name.
Okay.
All right, so this is my Marshawn Lynch team. And we're gonna be named Smash Mouth Football because this is old school style. And I'm gonna add not Ray Rice in the PPR league. I'm gonna add Steven Jackson.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go with him in one of that team.
Let's see, and Steven Jackson because we know
he's much more valuable here.
We know he has the ability to catch the ball anyway, and they have not been thrilled with Jaquiz Rogers. So if you can keep Steven Jackson out there on third downs, also give you the threat of doing a play action because you're going to be more apt to run with him still in there than you would with Jaquiz Rogers. And you look at the amount of catches that Rogers had last year. You look at what they did for Michael Turner. The touchdowns are going to be there. It's a juggernaut of an offense. He's going to be a consistent scorer, and I think that he didn't get to show as much because he was always playing from behind on a poor team in St. Louis. You're going to see him be able to put up some monster games because they're going to be playing from the lead as well, and he's going to get some just great opportunities with the monsters he has blocking for him at the wide receiver position.
Let's just put it this way. From a fantasy standpoint, the next 3 seasons for Steven Jackson are going to be a great time. Getting him in the early to mid value raised at the mid second round is the best quarterback I think you can get in the second round.
Bernie, I got to say something about Steven Jackson real quick. That guy is the most underutilized talent in the entire league. Not underutilized, but just unfortunate talent in the entire league. That guy could have been a top 5 fantasy back for his entire career on any other team except for the Rams. That one year, he did have an incredible year with like 90-something catches, 1,600-something, rushing yards and, 10-plus TDs. But that was it, that one year. The Rams have sucked every other year, and it's too bad because that guy's talent is off the charts. He is a monster. He's fast. He's edgy. He's got an edge to him where he'll bowl you over or he'll deke you out.
Plays hurt. He can bust one long. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he can't. I'm sure he still loves St. Louis. I'm sure he still loves the Rams and everything. But he can't wait to play for a contender like Atlanta who's going to use him correctly.
I liken this to like a Corey Dillon. Corey Dillon was on the Bengals for ages. All of a sudden, he comes over to the Patriots. Good times for about 2 or 3 years. This guy's been sitting and spelunking around on the Rams' non-greatest show on turf teams. Post that and Trouble City. He's had a rough go at it.
Karma comes back. He gets the payback late.
And now he's on a championship caliber team, and he could be the difference maker. The Falcons can win the championship.
They're talking about him as a pass catcher, not even just as a runner. They're talking about him like in his old school days where he caught 90 passes that one year. They're like, let's get this guy the ball.
As I was saying, the fact that they're going to be able to not have to use Chris Rogers as much, and they're going to want to keep, when they're on 3rd and 3, keep him out there. Threat of run, threat of catch. He can do both.
Yeah.
You don't have that threat when you have Rogers out there.
Yeah, Jaquez, I love the guy. He's a quick little jitterbug out there, but you're nothing compared to Steven Jackson. I wish you could have overtaken Michael Turner completely, but you didn't even do that.
Cool. My pick is going to be simple. I'm going to build this team around proving that you can build an awesome team around wide receivers.
Let's do it.
I got Julio Jones. He's in the mix. I got Calvin and Julio. The name of this team is going to be Suck My Wake, because that's what's basically going to happen when either quarterbacks, Ryan or Stafford, are throwing lofters in the corner of the end zone, and these guys are just jumping up, grabbing them with one hand higher than anybody in the league can reach, pulling them down and being like, suck my wake.
Interesting. I like it. All right, so I am up with my second team here. I got Jamal Charles as the start. And you know what? As much as I don't like him all that much this year, fuck it. You're right. I'm not going to do it because I really don't like him that much this year. I'm sorry. I'm rooting for you.
Every pick you sell, and then you turn the track.
Sorry, I do. I got to change.
Good.
I'm sorry. No, hey,
it's good.
Sometimes you're thinking one way, and then all of a sudden,
real grass.
I know, right?
Give me my Brandon Marshall. I'm going to go with my Brandon Marshall.
I would not like that in a PPR.
That's too bad that you don't like it because the guy's still going to catch 100 passes.
No, I'm saying, why wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
no. The guy I was going to go with.
Marshall.
Oh, yeah. No, I love a Brandon Marshall there. And, I mean, I was thinking because you're right. I mean,
don't mention any other guys yet.
No, I'm not going to. You're going with the flex.
I think it's already been written in, so you don't have to worry about it.
Cool.
That's fine. All right. I won't even talk about Marshall anymore. Everybody
Marshall,
knows the PPR giant.
Let's be honest. The guy's a machine.
Absolutely.
He's going to go down. He's got to go down a little bit. That doesn't mean his catches are going to go down, but his targets are going down.
A little bit, but still, it's a pass-oriented offense.
But it's still the best.
Yeah. He's
the best.
Let's go on. What do you got, Houdin?
All right, so this is to go along with Trent Richardson. So my team name now will make sense. My team name is, I'm from the Big Ten. I don't like this school all that much, but my team name will be OHIO with the space in between. AJ Green. I got Cincinnati. I got Cleveland.
Interesting.
I got AJ Green. I got Trent Richardson. I'm Team Ohio.
It's a lot more original of a name than this one's going to be called Smash Mouth Football.
Well, you know, maybe fuck you all. Maybe I'll change it, you bastard.
I like it. I like it. That Smash Mouth Football. It's very patriotic and old school. I like it. You're an old school fella.
That's an old school team. Two guys that can run the ball hard.
All right, well, let me write this guy in. So you just put in
AJ Green,
AJ Green. Okay.
We've had a run on wide receivers here.
Wow, I'm surprised that you didn't take another running back. To be honest,
it's totally against your.
Yeah, this is non-Houdini style.
But at the same time, maybe there's a different method with the flex league. So you never know.
That's very true. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. All right, D-Rex, what do you got here? Who's the guy you have right now?
The name of this team, just so you know, is Wiener for Mayor. So this team is going to be called Wiener, and it's going to be sponsored by or powered by, however you like to call it, Snapchat. So that's going to be the name of this team. Just getting that out there. You guys are so uncultured that you don't even know what I'm talking about.
No.
I heard Wiener and I heard Snapper.
Wiener for Mayor. It's the guy that keeps taking dick shots. He's a House of Representative that got jacked. He got taken out because he's running for mayor of New York, and now more people are coming out saying the guy's been sending his dick shots for the last 2 years since he got removed. So that's Wiener for Mayor, sponsored by Snapchat. Don't know who I'm going to take here, but I'm going to figure it out fast.
Sure you are. Sure.
This is good. You know what? This team's going to be... All right, I'm going Larry Fitzgerald.
The run on wide receivers
continues.
There
it goes.
I love Larry.
Fitty.
I always love it. Love him. I think that he's going to have his day this year.
I think we should make a commitment right now that we should go up and see his camp next year. With all those receivers that go there, let's go check it out.
I love it.
I would kill to go see that.
That'd
go see
awesome.
a Cecil Shorts up there, getting to be where he's going to be this year. Go see a Dwayne Bowe, kick ass, a Sidney Rice.
I'd love to go see Larry Fitzgerald drive around in a Segway. You guys, the Segway shots. Do a search, listeners. Do a search for Segway Larry Fitzgerald, and there are some really funny cut-ups and mashups. There's one of him on the side of the highway with the O.J. Simpson Bronco, and he's right next to the O.J. Simpson Bronco. It's friggin' hilarious.
It's awesome.
Nice.
I love it. All right, so I am going to go here. I got a Doug Martin. All right, and I am going to go with somebody that, I don't know, we'll see if the guy I want coming back to me will come back to me. But I know that I'm about to be on the turn here, and I am going to go with a Ray Rice.
Ray Riggedy.
I don't like Ray Rice very much this year, I'll be honest. But I think when it comes to a PPR league, if you can get him in a late second round in a 10-man draft, it's something you got to take because he's going to catch the passes.
Houdini's been taking him at the 10 spot for every one of these drafts.
And I know Houdini's going to... he wanted him real bad. I could see the look on his face. He had 2 picks coming up, and he was like, "Yeah, I got Ray Rice, Jared."
Oh no!
Dogmatica hates him.
No. I'm not upset about that.
Not upset at all. That's fine. Hey,
not one bit.
That's cool. All right. Well, I got Doug Martin and Ray Rice to start off my PPR league.
Pretty ridiculous.
Loving it.
It's good. That's a great pick.
By the way, it's called Team Oompa Loompa.
Team Oompa Loompa. Nice.
Pretty much the short, stocky guys
that look like they have too much facial.
There's some purple stuff going on.
Facial tan makeup on and purple hair.
Sure. Team Oompa Loompa.
All right, so this is my team 1 with Adrian Peterson, which has a team name now, and the team name is GoPro, The Awakening. And we'll bring the GoPros with us to Larry Fitzgerald's camp.
I love it.
We could run a 50-yard dash against each other, and I could see you guys coughing and wheezing
The
behind.
Awakening. That's a very impressive name, Houdini. I like it.
I can't wait.
See, you like to come back there?
Yeah,
you like to come back there?
Smash Mouth Football to GoPro The Awakening. I love it.
All right. Now, Adrian Peterson said, "I know I'm the best running back in the game, but I need some company in my stable. So since it's a flex league, we're going to just start dominating you guys, taking the wide receivers. And number 1, I'm taking a guy who is not necessarily a PPR guy, but is going to see such a huge uptick because of the situation that's going on in New England, and that's Stephen Ridley. Ooh. And I like the fact that I see him being a more steady force this year. They got the faith in him last year, and I see that translating this year. And the second guy is the guy who says that he might be better than Adrian Peterson. And then, what better way to have Chris Johnson compete with Adrian Peterson than to be on the same team and see who gets more fantasy points?
I like it. That's interesting.
So I got a stable of backs there, boys.
I like it. I very much like that. That's a great call. Getting 3 running backs on the same team. The first team, you got that flex position. That's awesome to do it in.
That's high on Ridley, though.
That's a little high on Ridley. Agreed. In a PPR league, I would maybe have let him go for the guy I'm about to take.
Okay. Who is that?
And this is going to go straight on with the Team Oompa Loompa. And that's the reason why I took Ray Rice first, because I knew Rice wouldn't come back to me. And I didn't want the 2 guys you took right there. I would have actually, Chris Johnson I would have liked, but Ridley I didn't want. I'm taking a Lamar Miller.
Wow.
Lamar Miller, who is going to be playing all 3 downs. There's nobody who's going to get on that field anymore. He's gotten a lot better in pass protection, so he's going to be there to be able to play those 3rd downs. Daniel Thomas is a piece of crap.
I like this for you as well because, again, if you're taking Lamar Miller as your second running back, it kind of worries me a little bit, but he's not. He's your flex guy right now because you already got Ray Rice and Doug Martin. I love Lamar Miller there, because there is the unknown. We don't know, but we all project. And, we all like the skills, and we know how fast he is, and we know what he can do once he gets the ball in open field. So those things translate, wow, that's a great pick. And again, I think it's one of those ones where that's where I would rather do if I'm using my that flex position, that running back, and I already got the two. I want a guy that's got explosion factor, like you always talk about. And we talk about for that extra position. You got the two steady guys here. You got the second best as you feel in the draft. Go for the explosion.
I love it. I love the pick. I love a Doug Martin, Ray Rice, Lamar Miller start. That's a good call. That's a good one.
That's good.
What do you got, D-Rex?
Well, I'm going to change it up here. My tiers say differently. But, by a long... you know what? I'm actually going to stick to these guys. I don't know how well he's done in PPR, to be honest. But this is tough. There's three guys that I'm kind of into right now for this team.
Throw it out there. I think I know.
I already know who I'm taking with my next pick, so...
Yeah, I know who I'm taking with my next pick.
I'm just going to go by my tiers, and he's got a lot of potential at the PPR position. I'm just going to stick with him, and just because I think there's still a lot of value in other spots. But I'm going David Wilson.
Yeah. I knew that was coming.
But I was very close to doing a couple other guys, to be honest.
And I may be taking one right now.
Yeah.
And, again, you talk about value. You talk about, wow, I can't believe that I waited this long. I took, as my team, OHIO, with Richardson and Green, and I waited for the running back, and I'm going to get Maurice Jones-Drew.
That was the other guy.
In the third round.
Yeah.
That's just a nice fall. It's a nice fall for me.
It's good stuff. I like
with him, that's who I was thinking about taking as well. With them, I'm just so bummed out, and I think he might even get traded mid-season, but I just don't. That team scares the living daylights out of me. But in the third round, amazing friggin' pick. But somehow he scares me a little bit this year.
Yeah, it is a little scary. The guy.
It's not really him. It's really his team.
It's not him. It is. But it's
put him on any other team. Yeah, his situation is it's a little frightening. But he's a stud. And then the third pick he'll probably be the best pick of the third pick. Now I wish I would have taken him over Wilson.
Yeah.
Well, again,
here's the question.
Here's the reason.
He's going to get a lot of catches.
Well, no, I think so. But here's the bigger discussion, and this is where people overthink PPR. Okay, Maurice Jones-Drew is still the guy that's going to be there for the touchdowns. This is still 6 points per touchdown in the league.
His touchdowns are way down.
I know, but the whole offense was way down, and he also was playing like crap. Now he's coming back.
Is MJD a guy that catches the ball?
Well, he has been. He used to be a guy that did everything. He used to be a guy that would, return kicks, return punts, and do just about anything on the field. So,
he used to be like, people were thinking that he was going to be the biggest touchdown guy almost ever. He had like 50 touchdowns in his first 4 years and wasn't even a starter.
Dude, but even before that, he had like 31 touchdowns in his first 2 seasons.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
32 games, 31 touchdowns.
But now you see the development of Shorts, and then you'll have Justin Blackman coming back, and hopefully, if we see it is Chad Henne. If the offense has any type of production to it, then Maurice Jones-Drew actually has people out there to help alleviate the weight.
I hope it's Henne, don't you?
I do. Of course I do, yes.
Okay, go on. Good pick.
All right. Well, this one is going to be another interesting one.
This is your Jamal Charles and Brandon Marshall.
Jamal Charles and Brandon Marshall. I am going to go with the best available talent, and I think I just got to do it. I'm going Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers on this team, and I know I could probably wait forever to get a QB, but I feel like I have top-notch running back and wide receiver PPR, and I'm not extremely happy with what's left, but I know there's enough that I could get those other positions. I'm going to get the best QB on the board, and I'm going to go with an Aaron Rodgers. I love an Aaron Rodgers.
You can't argue with it. I mean, this is a guy who was a first-round pick last year, higher pick over the last couple of years. So the fact that, again, what we're basically saying is, and what I think you guys can all divine from what we're saying is that we're not into jumping on quarterbacks early in drafts.
Obviously. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of
and it changes from year to year, but this year is not the year for the quarterback.
No, this is not the quarterback year because there's so much parity. It's
especially in a 10-team league.
Especially in a 10-team league. Because there's 12 quarterbacks that you could have, which would be just fine for you. 10 at least, for sure. So it's usually a good idea to wait off on quarterbacks, but if there's like an iffy situation, you might as well.
And if you love a guy like Rodgers and you're getting him in the third round, you're getting still a value. You're not paying high for him.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going Jason Witten.
Woo-wee.
I love it. That's a PPR call if I've ever heard one.
And that's also this is an interesting pick because
give me 100 points before the season even starts.
This is team in my wake, right?
Suck my wake, yeah.
Suck my wake. You're going to be sucking with your running backs, but I mean you got talent on the other positions right now.
I'm taking some risks, but there's some guys. By the way you guys are drafting, and who's to say who's right? But by the way you guys draft, I got some running back talent that I still like that I think is going to bounce back.
All right,
yeah,
let's do it.
Well, because I'm going smash mouth football, there's no other way for this team to go but not to grab Frank Gore right now.
Why not?
Why not?
The guy, I don't know, he doesn't catch a ton of passes anymore, and they may pare back on him a little bit. I don't think so, though.
I don't think so either.
I think we talked last week. We talked last week that they're with what they've got in the stables. They're like, let's win a Super Bowl, and hopefully Frank's there at the end in one piece.
Absolutely. I mean, they may pare back on him a little bit in the beginning, but I think they're going to run him into the turf. I agree with you.
Cool. I love that guy. He's one of the coolest players in the league. Other than that, just fantasy aside, I like the Niners. I don't really love Miami all that much, but he's one of the coolest guys in the league.
And also, again, it goes to the theory.
No one's ever said a bad thing about Frank Gore, have they? You ever heard a bad thing about Frank Gore?
And think about all the injuries he overcame from college to do what he did.
What I just said
he's done.
Is that you ever heard a bad thing about Frank Gore?
Never.
You've only heard glowing things.
And he went to Miami. Went to Miami.
He's the best running back that ever came out of Miami, they say. Out of all of them. We talked about it.
I fully agree.
All right, Dogmatics.
And at the point, he's on a winning team.
Yeah.
Yes.
The best team in the league.
All right, well, this is another team. My third team that has LaShawn McCoy and a Dez Bryant, where I think I'm going to be happy with what comes back to me. So I'm going to go with a position that you wouldn't normally think of, and I'm going to go with a guy that you wouldn't normally think of.
Question mark.
Yeah.
This is team question mark.
Yeah.
I'm going with a Vernon Davis.
Good pick.
Or maybe we call this team Double Bluff?
Wow. I did not
smoke screen? Double
That's
bluff?
good to see he's going so high, though, because he's ridiculous.
And he has still been lining up solely as a wide receiver for in practice for the 49ers.
And all the talk is that it's quite possible he's going to lead the team in receiving.
Why wouldn't he?
And looking at what Crabtree did last year, and they still have a Bolden, but I think Davis has a very legitimate shot at being a top 3, if not top 2, tight end this year, and he's been the top tight end in the league, fantasy tight end in the league before. So I like this one.
He's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, especially and if he does, let's say he does become start playing basically the Michael Crabtree position. Mm-hmm. Still get you credit as a tight end. So this is one of those things that becomes a Jimmy Graham type thing. Well, now here's a guy who's going from getting 4 or 5 targets a game is now getting 7 to 9 targets a game. Now that translates into major points, and usually because it's the tight end position, it becomes so advanced in points that you make up. You start.
He becomes a top end wide receiver.
He becomes a difference maker as to why you're winning every week.
Here's my only worry about him, and I'm very high on him. I think it's a great pick, but there's 2 worries I have. Harbaugh's game plans can use someone as a decoy and totally just have someone dud it out. 2 catches for 13 yards. And then on the flip side, right now, he is the number 1 target that defenses and defenses are trying to defend on defense. Maybe in some games, I think he's going to be great in that explosion factor where he could just light it up. But I think the problem with Vernon, and I'm going to take him high in leagues, believe me, I'm going to take him high, is his inconsistency, the game planning by Harbaugh, and then just flat out defenses throwing 2 bodies on him and shutting him down.
Well, this goes to a couple of picks ago, or a pick ago, where Frank Gore was taken. I think that San Francisco is probably going to gear more towards the running game because of the loss of a Crabtree And I think I think that Vernon Davis is going to be able to separate himself within that running game.
Well, let's just say this. Let's hope that he finally lives up to the potential that he's had, because after he's had his magnificent postseasons, he's followed up with some duds of regular seasons. Yeah, so true. It would be nice to see what he had a dud last season, but then he goes into the playoffs and once again, hello, here's Vernon Davis.
He's also being pushed by Vance McDonald. So being pushed like that makes a guy better.
Remember last year he was on the Alex Smith team? That whole thing kind of screwed him up until the playoffs, where it was just like they must have had to talk him, Kaepernick, and Harbaugh, and just like, all right, I'm going to tell you right now, Smith won't be here next year. Right. Kaepernick's our guy. Get on board. Let's do this. Because last year there was some weird energy there where he wasn't around. And I think Kaepernick would look around and be like, yeah, Vernon's kind of open, but fuck it, I'll run it. Fuck you, Vernon. You said you wanted Alex Smith to be playing right now, and I'm running for 30 yards. I think that whole thing's gone.
I agree. I fully agree with that. All right, so what do we got?
All right,
this is a wraparound?
No, this is me, and I've named this team. It's Arian Foster and Jimmy Graham, and I'm calling this team Bananas Foster. And something I've never eaten in my life. I just know it's a gross ice cream and banana dessert, right?
Yep.
All right. You like bananas, dude?
Of course I do. Who doesn't? So I've got a tight end, got a running back.
Yeah. Hairy bananas. Whatever.
You know what? I'm gonna construct an interesting one. Well, interesting one here. I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna get.
Check it out.
I'm gonna go Monty Ball.
I like it. I like that call.
Slow and steady, but good team. I got 3 players on good teams. He's more of a slow and steady guy, but I think that works for standard.
I think it does too. Again, the touchdowns is what you're looking for there. So I think that's a very good pick. Now,
and let's be honest, there's going to be a shitload of games where Manning's destroyed the other team 28-0, 28-7, 35 in the first half, and it's going to be like, all right, rookie, let's just get you acclimated to the league.
Absolutely.
He's going to get a lot of garbage.
Very true.
All right, so I've still got to figure out a team name for my last team here on the wraparound, but I got Alfred Morris and Matt Forte. And as we said, if you're going to take that flex position, you want it to be a guy that's dynamic for you. So I'm looking at it again, and again, I have to grab a wide receiver here, but I don't want to grab 2 of them here. There's just nothing that seems that worth it when there's just one guy out there in a PPR league, Reggie Bush. I got to take him now.
There you go.
So as a third receiver, I'll take Reggie Bush, and then on the wraparound, I'll take Demaryius Thomas, who I've been consistently taking as my first wide receiver, and being very happy sitting with that, knowing that Peyton Manning is going to target him in the red zone, and he's still going to be the big play down the sideline receiver for them.
I like it.
So you took Manning and Bush?
Bush, and then Demaryius Thomas.
Oh.
Not Manning.
Got it.
His target.
You like Manning as much as I do, huh?
Manning's Foster. Are you going to take him on Bananas Foster?
I was
and change it from Banana Foster to Manning Foster?
There you go.
When I took Witten, I was looking at Reggie, and because my tiers aren't geared directly towards PPR, because really the only PPR league I do is our Pyro one, Bush is a great pick there. Probably better than Monty Ball. Just because I think we all agree he's going to get at least 85 catches.
That's the Bush factor right there. Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason why I didn't take him on that other team is because I had Calvin Johnson. Sometimes it's not a great idea to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Very true.
All right, so I'm back. It's back to me. This is Demaryius. Demaryius Thomas.
He's doing a little editing of my team. Come on now, pick your pick.
It's all right. Hey, we're good. We're doing good.
We're doing good.
Arian Foster, Jimmy Graham, Monty Ball. So I got a very unlike me team. I don't have a wide receiver at this point, and there's actually a lot of great talent here.
Yeah, there's still a lot of guys there.
There's a lot of great talent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and use. I'm going. PPR. I'm going Pierre Garçon.
Interesting. It's not too bad.
You have been a big fan of his for a while here.
You will know why by week 6.
Because again, we talk about our, where you're crossing guys off on your tiers, and I mean, I still have about 7 guys in between him and the last guy across.
I have 9.
So, okay.
I totally agree. When you drafted Stephon Ridley,
I
had like...
You're like, hello.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. Hey, and that's going to happen. And
it's going to happen.
You know what? You're hoping for that to happen in every single one of your drafts. I can't wait to scratch off all these guys that I can't even see on my team.
Right. Didn't want him.
Best. It's the best feeling. All right. So I am actually... All right. I'm on my team with LaShawn McCoy, Des Bryant, and Vernon Davis. I'm going to call this team Pussy. For some reason. I don't know why, but they all seem to cry a lot. I don't know why. Des Bryant seemed to cry about his little, everybody's paying too much attention to me, get a babysitter. Vernon Davis crying at the end of the season. All right, okay. So I'm going to go with a Le'Veon Bell.
Wow.
I think that Le'Veon, at this point, has pretty much said, I'm taking this backfield, and I'm not going to let anybody else on the field. I do not want to see Jonathan Dwyer. I don't want to see LaRod Stevens-Howling. I don't want to see that other schmuck that's been there for way too long and shouldn't even be in the league anymore. What's his name? The direct backup.
Jonathan Dwyer?
No, not Dwyer. The other one. It was Redmond. Isaac Redmond.
Here's what I'll say about that pick. Le'Veon Bell on my tiers was my highest ranked running back at that point. I had him higher than MJD, higher than Lamar Miller, who you picked ages ago, higher than Gore, higher than Forte, higher than LaShawn McCoy, higher than Rice, higher than Reggie Bush, and higher than
Forte. Not in the PPR league, though.
Interesting. I think, you know what? He's going to catch balls. He caught balls at Michigan State.
He's a beast.
That didn't sound right. He caught a lot of passes.
You got a lot of things in common with him.
Yeah. Fuck off.
Sounds like Saturday night.
Dorms, Michigan State.
I'll go get your toupee.
All right, so let's take it to Smash Mouth football. Let's go old school, but let's go PPR style. And the guy is still there, not dynamic anymore, but it's still PPR, and he's still going to get me potentially 10 touchdowns at the wide receiver position. I'll take Roddy White right now.
Roddy White?
Yep.
That'll work.
Has to.
Absolutely.
Good pick.
It has to. I picked him.
It's not too bad. No, that's a good pick right there. I like that one.
All right, D-Rex. What is up now with no running backs?
That Le'Veon Bell I thought was kind of or Reggie Bush were coming back to me there, to be honest.
I can see you could have.
I got a good one.
Do it.
Yeah, no, Darren Sproles.
The other dynamic PPR back.
Consistently in the top 15 in PPR leagues. It's a good pick when you're getting him this late. Absolutely. Like it. I like it.
My running back won, but that shows you how PPR is, baby.
It is what it is. All right.
A lot of PPR magic happening on Sunday.
What are we looking at here?
This is, you're up with your Jamal Charles team.
This is my Aaron Rodgers, Jamal Charles, Brandon Marshall team. I like what I'm about to do here because I think it's worth it at this point. If he happens to last 12 games, which would be a freaking miracle, I'll take it for those 12 games. Give me a Darren McFadden. Because that's
who you thought I was going to take.
That's who I was going to take with my next pick. So that you just made my decision.
That's who you thought I was taking.
That's what I thought you were going to take. Yeah, I did.
It's explosion factor again, and that's all they got there in Oakland at this point. To be honest, they're moving back to his scheme. They're fitting their whole offense to him, basically, because they know that that's all that they got. So we'll see what happens. He'll probably be hurt in the first 2 games and be out for the year, but. But that's why we have the flex and the bench spot, so, we'll see what comes back.
All right, and so, again, looking at my situation here, I got to decide if there are any running backs that are even worth taking as a flex here right now, or do I focus on my wide receiver and worry about my flex later? So, when I look at the running back situation, when you took Darren McFadden, that was pretty much one of the last big strike guys that was available at the running back position. So I'm going to go away. And I'm going to say, at this point, Team OHIO has got to go for Victor Cruz.
Yeah.
I like that pick.
It's Good pick.
That is the one, as a matter of fact, I think. It's really close. There's a few other guys right there at that position, but I do like a Victor Cruz there.
Absolutely.
I want the younger versus the older, so.
All right, well, I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to go with the...
Cal Birdie.
I'm going to go on my tiers. The closest... I had him actually one ahead of a Victor Cruz, and he's here, so I got to take him. Danny Amendola.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep.
That's who you were contemplating last pick, wasn't it?
Not really,
A little
because I had already had...
With the Garcon?
With that...
Yeah. You were thinking Garcon, I know you were thinking Amendola.
Last team I wasn't because I had Calvin and Julio. But
that's right.
The Pierre Garcon pick, Amendola or Garcon.
Yes.
I just really... With the RG3 having to sit back and throw the ball, I think Garcon's pretty ridiculous. But it's a risk because if his toes aren't healed and he gets injured. But
yeah, for sure. No,
Amendola gets injured. But if he stays healthy for 16 games, I'll tell you right now, he's going to be top 5. Especially in PPR.
PPR, for sure. Absolutely. It's the Wes Welker factor. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
That's his gift right now and his curse.
Exactly.
So he's been cursed enough. I think he's going to get gifted this year.
That would certainly be nice. And
I love that team, and I love him.
So if that was to happen, that would move Tom Brady up a couple slots in my tiers. For sure.
Doubt.
If Amendola was to stay healthy.
No doubt.
I don't think it's going to happen. All right, so what do we got here? This is my Doug Martin, Ray Rice.
Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, my Doug Martin, Ray Rice.
I think you need a running back.
Well, I think I'm going to stay with the Oompa Loompas. I'm going to stay with the shorties. And I'm going to go with a very big risk. Give me a Percy Harvin.
Wow.
Really?
Yes, really.
You still think he's going to be fine, huh?
I think that he is going to be fine. I know that he's got that hip injury, but I've heard that you can play through it. I've heard that plenty of guys actually did play through it last year. And if he comes back tomorrow, on Tuesday, that second opinion says you don't need surgery, he will play through it. And he'll be a stud, an absolute stud for me for a little while. Yes,
What if the pain medicine they give him for the what kind of shot do they give you? It's not a cortisone, it's another one, but they'll give him a pain shot right in his hip.
Yeah.
What if that causes headaches?
If that causes headaches, fuck.
What if that
I didn't
medication?
think about that one.
That's an imbalance. He's got this groove going where he's not getting these migraines anymore.
Then he should go. He should go back to the Midwest and go talk to Ryan Braun, see what he took.
All right. So
Ryan Fraud.
It'll all work out then, right? Yeah.
I am. We're at GoPro The Awakening. Although
Such a heady name for
the name has actually been changed.
I knew it. It was too.
The team now is called GoPro The Awakening in the NFC North. Because
that's the longest name I've ever heard.
And it's correct because 3 of my top 5 are from the NFC North. And I'm drafting, and believe you me, yes, I am doing this. Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey, those are the 2 highest wide receivers I got on my tiers.
They're right up there on my board. I mean, yes, there's an Andre Johnson around there that I could have thrown in instead, but here's the fact of the matter.
Don't mention names.
No, it's all right because that's who I'm taking next.
Okay.
All right, so we can pencil in Andre Johnson next.
That's fine.
But here was the thought process on this too. Okay, this is a team where I feel I have an unfair advantage. Number one, because I have Adrian Peterson. Right, I got a guy who far and away, if he does what he can, is giving me extra points.
Despite his 29th ranked schedule against the rush.
Doesn't matter. It's Adrian Peterson.
It is Adrian Peterson.
Then I also got Stephen Ridley, who's going to be my steady horse, who I think is going to get an increased load just because of the circumstances of the situation.
Agreed.
Chris Johnson,
even though he's fumbling in
Chris Johnson as that third is that dynamic guy. Chris Johnson's a guy who's going to win you 5 or 6 weeks during the season. It's guaranteed. He's going to give you 5 or 6 duds as well.
Yep.
But that's why you have Adrian Peterson, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
So now you grab the 2 guys on the same team, and this has always been the argument. Do you grab 2 wide receivers on the same team? This situation, yes, because One of them is going to go off every week. So all I need for this team is one of my wide receivers to go off every week.
I know. My team with Aaron Rodgers, I can't wait to play.
I agree with that.
One by week.
But it is tough, and I like this pick. I like this back-to-back pick. I do. You need wide receivers. Those are the two top wide receivers I have in my tiers. I can't take anything. But it sucks when you're taking two guys that for one to succeed, it cannibalizes the other on a team. Right. I just know that from experience where you're like, yeah, it's Randall's week, but you still are goosing at a spot. Not fully.
But that was the reason why I did it. I said, I know what I have with the other guys. I got guys that are explosion, guys that are steady points. What I want to know is that out of my two wide receivers, since it's a flex league, if I'm starting this team, this is my starting lineup so far, one of these two guys is going to score points. Yeah. One may score marginal points and one may score major points.
All right. I think the most annoying team I'm kind of staying away from, while I love that pick, most annoying team this year for me to wrap my head around fantasy-wise is, without a question, the Green Bay Packers.
Right, because in addition to the running backs...
You took Rodgers. Rodgers is the epicenter. It doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah.
Everyone but Rodgers is going to get...
I cannot figure out what's going to happen with the receivers. I'm having a tough time with that.
Running backs? Did you see that picture?
Running backs?
Yeah. Did you see the picture of Lacey today?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Unreal.
Lacey, dude. Did you see that picture?
No, I didn't see it.
Lendell White-esque.
Really?
And he admits to eating too much fast food.
And Jonathan Franklin got the biggest... I'm telling you, they were saying that he was insane in camp today. That he was putting moves on in pads.
Yeah.
That there was no way anybody could ever
This was my thing too about Franklin, though. Franklin was my favorite. He was my favorite running back coming out as a rookie, and I was so upset and pissed off that he got drafted by the Green Bay Packers after they took Lacey. I'm like, I want him to go somewhere else. He needs to be a feature back. This guy can do it all.
Lacey will be out of the league in 3 years.
The only reason why I didn't like it is because I'm a Bears fan. I think it was an awesome move for Green Bay.
Well, no, it was awesome move. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the player. I wanted to see him in a place where he didn't. Didn't go with another rookie.
I think eventually he beats out Lacey.
He probably
personally. I really think
you saw the picture of Lacey.
Yeah.
It's badass.
Okay.
All right. Who's
You're up.
You're up. Dog, you took Andre
Johnson.
Andre Johnson.
Yes,
all right. This is Wiener for mayor. We got CJ Fitz, David Wilson, Amendola. All right. I'm going to go either running back or wide receiver here. You know what? Actually, no, I'm not.
Well, I mean, as long as you're taking a second, that team that I just took Andre Johnson on is pretty much a PPR gem if Percy Harvin stays healthy. You're talking Doug Martin, Ray Rice, Lamar Miller, Andre Johnson, and Percy Harvin. That's like 100 catches a man or something.
If
pretty much.
Well, that's
not really.
If everything goes right. You do got Old Man River Andre Johnson. Now you got Hitman River Percy Harvin. You got Unproven River Man Lamar Miller. You got Doug Martin, who we like, and you got Ray Rice, who's one of the guys that you hate the most on your team.
But I'm just saying. True. No, you're right. No, you're right. And you know what? I've been commenting.
Did you pick yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. Go.
I got the forefather is going after the incumbent. The fourth.
Oh, Wes Welker.
Welker!
There it is.
I was going to take him with my next pick, you bastard.
Yeah, he was coming up on my board, too.
Welker, I like that. I got two little white guys and a Larry Fitz. Amen. PPR, dude. You got to do it. He's definitely a couple lower than where I would have gone right here.
And in that Denver offense, he could very well be scoring 8 touchdowns as well.
And
love that pick.
We will. He's going to go. I think what's going to happen with him is going to be like what happened with Eric Decker. I think there's going to be like 4 games in a row where Welker's going to be like unbelievable targets and receptions, and then he's going to boon for a few. Still, maybe have touchdowns or some play in that game, but I don't think it's going to be like this onslaught of consistency with him.
Probably not.
But I like it where I got it.
I love where you got it.
So Team OHIO is going to make a surprise pick here. We got Richardson, we got Green, so we got our Ohio connection.
It's got to be Ohio, or we're going to have to rename it.
Well, MJD and Victor Cruz, and it's not Ohio, but we're staying in the Central. And I'm going to take a running back here, and I'm going to take, because it's, again, my flex position, if he stays healthy, I'm really liking what I got. DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, he went late. It's a good pick.
That's fine. I like that. And
that's fine.
Well, dog, seriously, no, he's a very good PPR guy, actually.
Yeah, you said last week.
Very good.
I like that. Exactly. He does it all. And again, the only competition he has is through a rookie in Joseph Randall, who's a 5th-round pick. So Randall may be halfway decent, but it's Murray's job until he gets hurt.
Yeah, no, I love that pick, actually. I think that's a really good one to take. I'm going to go with a guy who has done it consistently for years now, that is always underestimated, and to be honest, always underestimated by me, because I've always considered him at most a wide receiver 2.
Reggie Wayne?
No.
Oh.
No, I've always loved Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne has always been a favorite of mine, but I'm going to go with Marquise Colston. That guy catches more passes than anybody thinks, and he's been the 11th guy in the league for 2 years running, top 20 for 3 years running. I think that's a pretty good PPR pick, especially in PPR, actually. He's been top 15 for the last 3 years running. I like it.
I just realized from my tears.
Especially with Sean Payton coming back.
Nothing personal, but I just realized my tears. I didn't have Marquise Colston on them.
I gotta check and see if I had him on mine.
I didn't have him. I was like, whoa, okay. Wait, hold on. He's been removed. That's one of those.
I gotta put him back. I forgot him too.
Dog, I think you could have gotten him in a few rounds later.
He's what we call the forgotten man.
The forgotten Colston. We just don't like Hofstra. All right. So this is my suck my weight team. Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Jason Witten, and Darren Sproles. So, you know what? I think it really drops off. No, I don't. I'm going to hold off on that, to be honest. I'm going to do something nutty here. You know what? You know what this team's going to have? I'm going to do this. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Wow. I'm doing it. I'm going for Colin Kaepernick.
Yes, you are. That was coming sooner or later.
I mean, in the 5th round on that team, I think Colin Kaepernick's going to score the most fantasy points of anyone. I got Calvin, Julio, Witten. My running back game is down, but I have a feeling the guy that I want next, and I think is going to be a solid PPR player, is coming back to me.
That's a good pick. I like that.
I'm liking that.
All right,
that
so
that guy's going to fucking just explode for 7 weeks.
This is Team Smash Mouth, and it's going old school here. So, this is called go with the very unglamorous pick. And you never know. It could sometimes pay off. Vincent Jackson.
Yep.
It's not glamorous.
I'll tell you right now, that's who I should have taken instead of Colston. And that's fine.
I don't know. I
overthought my Colston pick.
There's a lot of... I don't know, I'm shocked about, or maybe I'm not, but it just shows something for the listeners. There's still, if I was going to say there's a position that has talent, quarterback, obviously, but for good reason we're waiting. Wide receiver still got a lot of talent.
Why? Because this is what we're learning.
PPR.
It's a flex league. So, here's the difference. Where we were only drafting 2 running backs before, you already have 4 teams have drafted... 5 teams have drafted 3 running backs. Half the teams have drafted 3 running backs. So... That's where there's always, and this is where it becomes a problem. Where I learned in a quick sidebar, I participated in one of these flex leagues for the first time a few years ago, and I had 3 of the best wide receivers. And what the problem was is that there was such wide receiver depth that it wasn't such an upgrade for somebody that they wouldn't trade that 3rd running back that they had. And I was I had Darren Sproles and I had nothing else. And I couldn't get anything else, even though I had the best wide receivers that were out there. No one would trade me for them.
Yeah.
So that became tough. So
Yep. No, that makes sense. So it's your pick, Deanie, right?
No, it's Don's pick.
Oh, who'd you take, Don?
I took Vincent Jackson.
That's right, okay.
All right, here's a guy that I had a feeling would fall. And I knew he would fall. And he would probably fall even farther than this, except for the fact that I'm actually a little bit high on him. I love my Chris Ivory this year. I love him in a Jets offense that has an easy schedule, especially for the running game. And he's really the only guy, especially with Mike Goodson's problems. He's the guy they're going to be going to. He can catch the ball, and he's going to run the shit out of it, too. If he can stay healthy, I think that he's a steal right there, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So, I think that guy, I'm going to still just wait. I'm going to wait on this. So this team needs, I got 2 running backs. I feel like I can always get running backs. It's something I always feel like I'm able to. Alfred, in the 14th round, in a rookie league, you were able to get an Alfred Morris last year. I feel like I'm able to really pick good gem running backs that can get opportunities.
Yeah.
I think, I just said there's a lot of depth.
It was later in the 14th.
No, it was 14th.
Was it 14th?
But that's a rookie league.
Yeah, when it was
a rookie league.
That's true.
The first overall pick in that league was Andrew Luck.
Everybody's wondering who the fuck Alfred is, but yeah, that's cool.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. So I'm going to stick with a position and fill it out where I started. I did something weird on this team, and I didn't go wide receivers. So I'm gonna grab a wide receiver here, and I've got a couple guys higher on my rankings. In my tiers that aren't geared for PPR, so I'm going to take Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, saw that coming, but it was that or another guy, and we all know who that other guy is.
We do?
Oh yeah,
there's 2 other guys I would say at that position.
Well, so here I am with my last team, and I still need a team name for these guys. I have Alfred Morris, Matt Forte, Reggie Bush, Demarius Thomas. So I got some small guys. So we're going to be called the Mighty Mites, is what our team will be on this one.
Actually, I would say that you're wrong. Alfred Morris is pretty stocky. Matt Forte is 6'2".
Would you let me make my other 2 picks before you judge the bounty of my team on my first guy?
Demarius Thomas is 6'4". Yeah,
we are the Mighty Mites. I'm adding Deshaun Jackson and Steve Smith.
There you go.
That is the Mighty Mites, okay?
That's the Mighty Mites. That'll work. Yeah, that works.
Steve Smith and Alfred Morris ain't no 6'3".
No, but he is like 225.
Well, I'm talking about mighty
stature,
Mighty Mites.
There you go.
Smaller but strong.
I'll give you that. All right.
So good times. You know what I'm gonna do here?
No, I don't know what you're going to do.
I'm wondering whether on the flex spot, you know what I'm going to do here? I know what I'm going to do. Whether the flex spot, I'm doing something crazy here.
But I love it. You're going to flex and the bench.
I think he's the best player here for it. There's a lot of good players here, but I'm going Rob Gronkowski on this team.
There you go.
Yeah.
Flex. Rob Gronk. I got Jimmy Graham and Gronk.
You fucker. Sorry, I'll throw that out there.
That's interesting.
You said the F word a lot on the show. You don't have to say you're sorry. People are used to hearing it.
I do say it. You're right. I'm sorry. Fuck.
It's an interesting. I want to say this because I was thinking about that when you had Jimmy Graham. I thought this is the one team that could be interesting to really think about if you could grab a Gronkowski late, get him the value of if he's healthy and using him as the flex guy. It could be a great strategy.
If it's not, there's literally
Jimmy Graham is the only.
Jimmy
Graham is the only tight end that I would do that strategy with.
Yeah.
So I like the pick. Especially because what are you going to grab at running back right now that's going to make that big of a difference? You got your 2 running backs. You got your 2 there. If Gronkowski's healthy, there's your flex right now, and
I'm excited about it.
Big time.
And I waited on running backs, and I'm shocked that I kind of got Reggie Wayne. And again, I still think there's more talent. There's still a lot of value out at that position.
Yes, there is.
And I'm going to get some of it.
We'll see.
On that team. Bananas Foster.
All right, I'm going to get a constant on this one. Somebody is going to give me massive points every single week. Give me a Drew Brees. This is my team with LaShawn McCoy, Le'Veon Bell, and Chris Ivory as the running backs, Dez Bryant, and a Vernon Davis. I like a Drew Brees right there.
Sick team.
Yes.
Sick team. And just so you know, we mentioned this last week in the podcast, because we know each other a bit here, and this does not happen in any league, Drew Brees is going to be gone in the first 3 rounds.
I would imagine, yeah.
Unquestionably, in any league you're in. So we understand that when you're listening to this podcast, Drew Brees in the 6th round sounds crazy. It is. But we are at the same time knowing one another, and if Drew Brees,
and we're also
if
believing
you did
that
take him in the 3rd round, it's a bad pick because of where we're let me give just in this.
Let's put it
just
this way.
In this setting.
Listen.
That's what I'm talking about.
But still, go on.
Listen. Here's how when you're listening to us, if you want to view it, just look at it as to when did we pick each quarterback? Who went first, who went second, who went third, who went fourth?
Yes.
That's all that really matters. Now, if your league is more geared to quarterbacks, you're just knowing who we favor as quarterbacks. So don't worry about that, because I know when I'm using my strategies here and this one, quarterbacks aren't going. So I'm thinking in my other leagues that I know I'm going to do, my 6 or 7 leagues now that I'm in, how many of them I'm going to have people drafting quarterbacks and wide receivers where I'm using my strategy. This is giving me some extra proof to say, okay, even if they don't, if they all use my strategy, I have a good chance still.
Well, the fact of the matter is that we know at this point that you can get a Matt Stafford later. You can get a Matt Ryan later. You can get a Russell Wilson later. You can get a Tony Romo later. You can get a Tom Brady later, maybe. Or maybe you don't get a Tom Brady later and he goes third because somebody thinks that it's still Tom Brady.
Well, and while we're on the matter and we're talking about Matthew Stafford, he's the next guy that's going to... No, he's not. It's Peyton Manning, who I will be taking on Smash Mouth Football. And it makes sense that he ends up on Smash Mouth Football. Old school Peyton Manning.
Absolutely.
We're taking him, and he is now paired with Marshawn Lynch, Steven Jackson, Frank Gore, Roddy White, Vincent Jackson.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that when it comes to the quarterbacks, if you're in a 10-man league, we are Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Colin Kaepernick are all off the board now. Who's left? I already mentioned a Stafford. I already mentioned a Matt Ryan. I already mentioned a Tom Brady.
We got plenty of guys.
You still got your Robert Griffin. You got your Ken.
You're blowing the lid off of this thing.
I'm sorry, but no, I mean, I'm just saying.
I liked when you talked about it before, but enough. We are drafting.
All right, we're in the 6th round. We're halfway through. We got 2.5 rounds left. So
I took Kaepernick last time around, so obviously I don't need a quarterback here. Let me see. I need an RB, and you know what? A guy that I still like right here is available, and I don't know. You know what? I'm going to change it because it's pure. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna do Anquan Bolden.
Wow.
Yep. That was a guy I knew was coming off the board with you for sure.
Yeah, because I was not going to draft him this high. I think it's still too high.
No, you know what? I don't know. With Crabtree gone, I'm telling you, the guy's going to get a lot of
There's still other receivers on the board that entice me a lot more than older Anquan Bolden, who's not going to get those explosion 150-yard games.
True. I don't know. The PPR style, though, he might get it there.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
It's a question.
Right, so there's a number of great guys at that spot.
That's fine. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Your guy that I know you're going to take, I've got 6 wide receivers lower than him. Okay. It's just the way it works, man.
All right. I may take someone else. That could have been
No, you're not. We know who you're taking.
Oh, it may be somebody else.
All right, what do we got here? Who's up? Am I up?
You're up, buddy.
All right, this is my team with Aaron Rodgers, Jamal Charles, and McFadden. I got Marshall and Colston as well. I'm going to do it. And I know that you guys are not high on him, but I am. I still think that he's got a bunch left, and especially in PPR. I think he's going to get 75 to 80 receptions again. Give me a Tony G.
You needed a tight end, dude.
I needed a tight end there.
Tight end left.
I still love him. I think the guy still has a bunch left. And PPR style, I think he's a gem. I love it. Give me a Tony G.
There's a drop-off after that game.
And it puts me now, I got my team OHIO with Trent Richardson, AJ Green, MJD, Victor Cruz, and DeMarco Murray. And I'm looking at the wide receivers, and there's some other guys that I think I would rather have at a different level. So I'm going to abandon the wide receivers here, and I'm going to go to a state that's very close to Ohio. And take Matthew Stafford.
There we go.
I'm keeping it in the region, mother effers.
I love it. That's cool.
Regional pick.
Nice work.
We stole him from the University of Michigan, and we're claiming him for Ohio.
He's definitely shagged a girl from Ohio, so there's a degree of separation.
All right, D-Rex. The thrill is.
The thrill is. Well, we're locked down at running back. We're locked down at wide receiver. So let's do a flex here, or let's consider the talent at some of these.
Remember, you cannot draft another wide receiver.
I cannot do that. Okay.
Oh no! I guess you could. You could because you have a bench spot. You have a bench spot right now. Your flex is your wide receiver.
And I'm not looking. I'm not really looking there. I'm looking at the. You know what I'm going to do? I'm doing it. He's high here, and it's an exciting team. It's kind of a really friggin' cool team. Let me see, running back. I kind of went with the flex with the wide receiver. All right, I'm doing RG3. RG3.
The quarterback runs will begin. Here we go. Dogmatica.
Just fine. That's perfectly fine with me. Pretty sure I can wait on that at this point. So we got Doug Martin, Ray Rice, Percy Harvin, Andre Johnson, and Lamar Miller. I got a tight end to fill. I got a QB to fill. This is definitely an interesting pick, and I am very psyched about taking it. I think he's on the up and up, and we talked about it earlier. It's a camp we want to go to. The Larry Fitz camp. Who was there this year?
Cecil Shorts.
Cecil Shorts the third. I'm a big fan of Cecil Shorts.
Well, now that was the guy that I was hoping was going to fall back to my team Ohio, and it's not going to happen.
You know what I realized?
You had using
Shorts isn't on mine.
Oh, I thought you were going to realize that you were using Dogmatica's tiers.
No, Cecil Shorts is not on mine. That's nothing wrong. I like Blackman more than Shorts, but it's a good pick.
That's fine.
Blackman's suspended for 4 games, so I'm just saying I left him off. I got to get a couple guys on my tiers before our draft kit version 3, which comes out tomorrow.
Well, and now, so this
Good
is my
stuff.
GoPro, The Awakening, in the NFC North with this pick, who I just had taken Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson on my last wraparound to add to Adrian Peterson, Stephen Ridley, and Chris Johnson. So, with this wraparound pick, I'm going to grab the guy who you guys know I love at quarterback this year, and I hope that I get him in one of my other leagues. It is a Cam Newton, who I will take in the 6th round.
Love it.
And wrapping around...
One thing to mention about the previous pick by Dog, Cecil Shorts III came after RG3. These are the first 2 players ever to have numerals on the back of their jerseys.
Yep.
Okay, move on.
Yep.
And in successive picks. Lawrence Peroni III. Lawrence Peroni III.
No, but never on the back of a jersey.
He didn't put it on the back of the jersey?
Yep, Peroni.
Oh, he did.
Yep.
He just had Peroni. You're right. All right, so Cam Newton, and I'm going to add to that wide receiving core because I know I got to get some bye-week replacement, and I'm going to grab one right now, the Dwayne Bowe connection.
Dwayne, somewhere over the Dwayne Bowe.
No, that's Wizard of Oz. Someday we'll find it. It's the Muppets. The Dwayne Bowe connection.
I like my somewhere over the Dwayne Bowe.
I love it. Either way, it freaking works.
Either way, you got your guy. That's a fucking value pick right there.
I love it.
With
All right.
Cam, I love Cam too.
Yeah, for sure.
I need a tight end. I'm taking it, and I know that some people are going to scoff because he's taking
Zach Miller from you.
His ADP is so low, it's unbelievable. But I'm going to tell you, and you'll read it in our draft kit, you'll read it in articles. It's an Antonio Gates this year.
I love him.
Love him this year.
Love him. I think he could have waited, but I love him.
Yeah, what they're doing in San Diego this year is going to be geared towards one last hurrah for Antonio Gates.
I agree.
Let me put it this way to our listeners as well. You maybe could have waited and gotten him, right?
Yeah.
But the fact is, if he's the guy that you really want there,
no doubt,
and you don't see any other guys that are making you be real happy, and if you come to your next pick and he's not there, are you going to be upset? Then take him and be happy with him.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's a great pick. I agree. This is a guy that
same thing when you want to go for Kaepernick. It's okay.
3 years ago, before he got hurt with this Liz Frank, he was about to have one of the most disgusting tight end seasons of all time. He's not that old. He's still with Rivers. They still know that he's the productive one. And let's be honest. When you got Antonio Brown, you got Malcolm Floyd.
You don't got a lot of other competition out there.
He's the slow and steady.
Vincent Brown.
But
Vincent Brown is a stud. I'll tell you that right now.
No, he is. But
Denario Alexander, Malcolm Floyd.
Alexander.
Yeah. Agreed.
Who's Rivers relying on? Old Faithful, and that's Gates.
Yeah, it's a Gates.
All right, so it's a great pick, and to be honest, I think I'm going to take a tight end. You know what? At this point, I'm going to wait. Because the Gates would have been a good pick, and this team definitely needed that. You know what I'm going to do? He's still sticking around, and he's pretty high, he's a lot higher on my tiers than most guys. Rashard Mendenhall.
I like that pick. I was really looking forward to taking him with my next team, so that's a good one. I like that.
I mean, he's sitting up about 7 positions ahead of guys crossed out underneath him. So I've waited, and I've only got 2.
And at least you have a guy who's going to be the starter.
He's a wide receiver. He's running back 1.
Right.
He's an RB1.
He's an RB1.
Not an RB1 He's the starting running back for the Arizona Cardinals.
Sorry.
You're right.
Not an RB1.
You're right. Sorry.
You're right. Hey.
He's on the Cardinals.
Let me make that clear.
The Vietnamese
is not.
No, I'm with you.
Okay. Good, as long as we have that clear.
As long as we have that clear.
All right, so now I'm looking for value
Shocked
here.
he's available that low.
I got my quarterback. I'm
Still
sitting
talent.
here with Team Ohio, and we need. I'm locked up. I've grabbed all my starters. I can grab a bench, and I got to grab a tight end. So I want to grab a little explosion for my bench, and. What better way than the guy who I think is going to actually be more of a PPR target this year just because of his new landing spot. So I've gotten two of my guys in the last couple picks. Mike Wallace is my third extra bench, extra flex player. I like it.
That's a good one. I like that. That's.
I'm not counting on him week to week. He is a flex.
But he's a guy, we talk about it all the time, ceiling's high. You're sitting here in the 1, 2, 3. This is your 7th pick.
Yeah.
That's a great pick. Ceiling's high. He might lay you down, but it's your 7th pick. Ceiling's high.
It's okay.
If he pulls it together and Tannehill can get him the ball, he could be just pretty ridiculous.
All right, dog.
All right. There are some definitely very interesting.
This is a weird team.
This is a very weird team that I have right here. It's Rodgers, which is obviously a stud quarterback, Jamal Charles, and Darren McFadden.
High upside,
possibly brittle guys.
Yeah, chink in the armor happens. This team is
and then I have Brandon Marshall and Marquise Colston, 2 6'4" guys who I don't know, are great PPR guys. We'll see what happens there. Tony G. Kind of maybe at the tail end of his career. I need a flex.
You're still looking for a starter.
I'm looking for a flex that, I don't know, it could it be a running back? Should it be a running back?
Questions are always.
I'm sorry. I'm perplexed by this.
So
I'm debating through a few guys.
Me and D-Rex will have a little sidebar here while Dog contemplates his pick.
Fuck it. All right. I'm taking an Ahmad Bradshaw.
All right, Ahmad.
If that guy starts for the Colts and plays, that guy is going to be a gem. I seriously hope he does.
Right now, you got Darren McFadden, Ahmad Bradshaw, and Jamal Charles. That is the all potential could be on the IR list of all time.
Can you trade Marquise Colston to your team too for Percy Harvin so you can put them all in the same team?
That would be phenomenal.
But this team's got explosion, the team's got upside, and you got slow and steady.
Actually, I'd trade him for Chris Ivory.
You got a cornerstone in Rodgers. So, all right, Suck My Wake is ready to come here, and 1, 2.
You got to get a running back at some point.
Yeah, I got to get another running back. And I'm ready. This is the guy that I actually was sitting around waiting for, especially in the PPR. Giovanni Bernard.
Taking the chance on the rookie.
I was really close to taking him, as a matter of fact. Love that pick right there.
All right, he's going to be the number one.
The tough part about it is
Lawford. The only person that thinks Lawford has shot at putting a competition with him is Houdini.
He has no shot. It is Bernard
done
all day long.
Number one running back taken in the draft.
That guy is the guy.
I don't think he's going to be the number one guy this year, and I like you guys' enthusiasm about it, but they're going to groom him into it. Team OHIO would have loved to have had him, but we understand, and we say good luck to you using him as your second running back in this league. That's going to be a tough spot for a rookie.
PPR, baby.
I know it's PPR, and I know what I've said about him, but at the same time, it's a rookie, and it's...
If your team could get to the second half of the season with a winning record, believe me, Giovanni Bernard will take you the rest of the way.
All right, well, I hope for it. Smash Mouth here, and we're going to go ahead and grab my favorite...
Ben Jarvis Greenellis?
Wide receiver.
The law firm. Who's your favorite young guy?
T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Interesting. Don't think he's going to be a big PPR guy this year.
Yeah. You know what? At this point in time, you're pretty much out of the PPR wide receivers. You're not getting any
Disagree.
guys.
I think there's a few guys left.
Disagree. You're not. None of the guys that are left on the board are talking about 95, 100.
Let's not talk about it. Let's talk because I think Dogmatic's about to
we've had these conversations in the past before. When you get down to 70 receptions or less, PPR does not have that much of a bearing between
Dog has a guy
at 70 and a guy at 55.
It's not
it's a half a point a game. It's a big deal.
And he happens to need the position badly.
There's a few guys out there.
All right, you're up.
I agree with that.
I think I got three guys that I could choose from that will not only have more receptions, but I think that two of them will have more touchdowns than a T.Y.
Well, we know you're smarter than me, so it's okay. I don't mind.
No, I don't think I'm smarter than you.
I know you are.
That's cool.
No, but T.Y. Hilton, I think, was the worst pick of the draft so far. I will say that.
Well, it was him and Torrey Smith, and I was going for him because I love T.Y. Hilton. I want him.
Stop mentioning players.
I'll mention the player.
Okay,
I can't take him.
I'm going to go with the Greg Jennings.
Wow, I did not see that.
See, he should have been on Smash
Mouth. I saw a different guy, and I'm about to take him. I can't take
Snatch
him.
Who?
I can't take him. Please say I can take him.
You can take a wide receiver.
There's another guy I'm thinking of that I
need one too.
You can. You can need a quarterback and a bench.
Hold on, let me see if I want. Giovanni on my team. Oh yeah, I got the guy. Dog should have grabbed.
Who's that?
And he's actually the highest on my. He's not the highest on my tiers. Let me see. Let me look at this.
It's PPR. You got to look it over.
Is this
I
my
think
last
do
pick?
it anyway. If you think you're screwing him over, that's part of a draft strategy.
No, but this is my last pick.
Yeah. No, second to last.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do this one because it's a no-brainer, but it's Antonio Brown.
Damn it! Yeah, that was the one I was debating between.
I think Antonio.
I had
Brown's
Antonio Brown
pick
higher than T.Y. Hilton
other
on my tiers, but I wanted to take T.Y. Hilton because I wanted him on my team.
That's good. I like that. I respect that. So, Doug, you just took.
I have Antonio Brown. Actually, to be honest with you, I had Greg Jennings, Torrey Smith, and Antonio Brown ahead of T.Y. Hilton, but I took T.Y. Hilton anyway.
Yeah, Jennings, I thought we just had a role reversal because now it's funny how we inspire each other and we influence each other. Because now I'm kind of hot for Antonio Brown because you think he's going to have 90 catches and you think he's going to have all this.
I do.
I've been saying how I think Jennings is going to have all these opportunities. The only thing with Jennings and me right now is this Cordarrelle Patterson, who's not going to be drafted in this draft. He's lighting it up. He's looking like a guy. He's looking like a guy that might be pretty sweet. That's why I think Jennings might kind of be right back to, instead of being wide receiver 1, he might almost be wide receiver 2.
No, I don't think he will not be wide receiver 2 because he's playing the Percy position, especially.
I agree.
He'll get the catches. I'm not worried.
But I thought you were taking Brown and I was taking Jennings.
I really
actually
was.
I had one more guy higher than Jennings.
I was so close.
All right, I'm ready to close out the Team Mighty Mites with my wraparound. So we got Alfred Morris, Matt Forte, Reggie Bush, Demaryius Thomas, Deshaun Jackson, Steve Smith. I need a quarterback. I need a tight end. I waited, and I waited, and I waited.
And it looks good.
Matt Ryan, Jared Cook. Suck it. Okay. That's how it goes. Boom goes the dynamite.
I do like the Matt Ryan take.
T-Rex. I know you don't like Jared Cook, but you know what? Jared Cook is my guy that I have highly rated. Again, playing indoors, playing on that team in St. Louis with a bunch of other young guys around him. He's going to be that centering focus.
No, he's not. Well, it's too spread. It's going to be way too spread.
Well, you want to know what? But he's a guy who lines up as a wide receiver. And I'm going to tell you what, again, at the tight end position, a guy that has that ability, Fisher brought him back. He thinks he didn't use him right the first time. He's excited to use him the second time. Sure. I like guys that get their toys back the second time. They tend to use them a lot more than they did the first time.
I do like that. I don't like that they have Lance Kendricks. I don't like that they have.
I don't mind that they have Lance
seven
Kendricks.
receivers who are just as good.
What has Lance Kendricks done in this league but been the 38th rated tight end for the last 4 years in a row?
There's a lot of mouths to feed there, and
I know, but they're all young mouths.
No, it could be good. He's just never he's never done anything.
Fine. I like Cook.
No, I know. He's never done it.
No,
Cook's in my kitchen.
Cook is high upside. I love that pick. Big fan of that pick. Actually, it's a very high upside pick.
Okay, so my
is it you or me right now?
It's me. Bananas Foster is up for my last pick. I had Arian Foster, Graham Bell. I like that.
Nice.
Garcon, Wayne, Gronkowski, Brown. So I need a quarterback on this team. And wow, there are so many good quarterbacks still available. It's incredible. I think you took the highest quarterback on my tiers. Yeah. I'm going to go with the highest guy on my tiers. No, I'm not.
You don't want
because I think
you want Brady.
I think things have changed, and because we've got Gronkowski on this team.
Please do.
Feed the beast.
Take it. Leave me.
Well, here's what I'd say.
Leave me with the
My other quarterback is higher, but with news that we're going to find out about tomorrow.
Correct.
I'm a little worried about him without. So, my next highest guy, Tom Brady.
Alrighty. That'll work.
Well, that works because you're the last team that needs a quarterback there, so you will get your Russell Wilson toward the end of the year.
Yes, but this is
this team cannot draft him.
I don't need the.
Oh no, you can because you get a bench. You could take it as a bench.
I could.
Take him behind Breeze.
Back up a Breeze to another guy shorter.
Should I take Jerome Bettis to back up Le'Veon Bell?
Yes.
Should I do that?
No.
Okay.
Dwyer.
All right. Dwyer. Yeah. Jerome Bettis.
He's Jimmy Smith.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to take the highest guy in my tier right now, and I'm going to take a Torrey Smith. I think he's going to be utilized quite a bit more this year, and not just catch 49 passes. I think he'll be closer to 79 passes this year.
All right.
And he's explosive, and he's had 8 touchdowns each of the last 2 years.
I'm in a situation here. This is Smash Mouth. I need a tight end. And we're Smash Mouth football, so we want the guy that just all he does is catch touchdown passes. So we're going to have to go Kyle Rudolph.
I like that.
That's a good pick, but I don't think Smash Mouth really relates to just catching touchdown passes.
Rudolph's
a tough guy.
Rudolph is the guy who smash mouth you at the line and then he releases.
If you're talking about Smash Mouth catching balls, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
All right.
Smash Mouth catching balls. Whatever.
Smash Mouth's my favorite band. Just so you guys know. If you were going to ask me what's your favorite band of all time, it would be Smash Mouth. Some of the stuff they did in those Shrek movies was incredible.
Shit.
Okay. You got me, man.
There you go. All right, so that's that's Dogmatic.
You're a Calvin Johnson team. This is your team wide receiver.
All right. So I've got a corner. I need a tight end. No, I got a tight end.
You need a bench.
All right.
This is your extra pick.
This is my team.
This is your free base pick.
I love this pick too.
Good.
I'm relying on some running back. All right, I'm going to go with a running back just because it seems like that's what I should. You know what? Bogus. I'm going to go with the guy that I think is the best player on the board right now because I know that I'm going to be able to pick up a running back. Every year I do, and every year I will be able to. Last year, one of what got me into the playoffs and into championships in multiple leagues, a fucking Maroney. A Tony Maroney. Boney Maroney in friggin' the 12th week.
Who? Interesting. Who?
The guy on, sorry, not Maroney.
Lawrence Maroney's been out of the league for a little bit.
Lawrence Maroney, you're right. The guy that's on Denver, what was his name?
No, Sean Moreno.
Moreno.
That's
Yeah.
Moroni. Moreno. I got that guy in the 12th round.
I wish we had the GoPros right now because me and Dog are looking at it going, who?
Yeah, because we did that about 50 times a piece towards each one.
So who are you taking?
It's fine. Hey, what do you got?
I'm taking Knicks. Hakeem Nicks, contract year. This guy could easily be top 10.
Absolutely.
Easily.
It could be top 10 first injured in the league. Yes.
Hey, no one's been hurt by him.
Well, see, the only thing that's tough here is
Knicks more than me.
All you have is
he's number one on a great team.
I love your wide receivers: Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Anquan Bolden, Hakeem Nicks. Unfortunately, you only get to start 2, and unfortunately, your 2 starting running backs are Darren Sproles and Giovanni Bernard.
I got a flex position.
Yeah, which is going to be either Anquan Bolden or Hakeem Nicks.
Which is, I'm very happy with.
Okay, I'm just
let's look at your. Who's your flex on your best team?
On my best team? I don't know what my best team is.
I guarantee you think it's a running back that's your flex position because you're locked into thinking that running backs, even when they're the 23rd ranked, are going to be better than a guy that.
What it does is what
that's
it does.
Just the way you think.
What we've noticed here
doesn't always turn out that way.
No, you got
doesn't always turn out that way.
Listen to the point. The point is that when all these teams draft these extra running backs because of the flex position, and you wait and you're going after wide receivers and the other what happens is that you then are weak at running back, and then what happens is when you're done at running back, no one's going to trade you a running back because they don't need the wide receiver when they only have to start 2 in a 17 league.
I don't have a boner for the running back, so I don't believe like you. For me, in a PPR league, Giovanni Bernard. He's going to be the number 1. It's going to be great this year.
I just don't trust the guy as my starter.
You don't believe in him?
I do. That's fine. Not as my starter, I don't trust him.
And then my other guy is Sproles, the best. Maybe besides
the
Bush
best
this year.
PPR guy, but that doesn't mean that he's...
So if we were to go on another 9 rounds, I would start loading up on running backs. And there's still a ton of them I think are going to do great things.
Darren Sproles has been very lucky over the last 2 years to have 7 receiving touchdowns over the last 2 years. Prior to that, he went down to, I believe, 3 touchdowns, and he doesn't get more than... He has less than 100 carries.
It's a PPR league. It's the only reason why. He's just a beast.
But I'm just saying,
I will tell you right now that Hakeem Nicks right there was probably the best
pick of the draft.
I think there are about 7 running backs left that are very worth taking, and maybe only about 4 or 5 that are worth taking in wide receivers.
All right, well, your pick anyway. Here.
Agree.
If Nicks can get himself a great contract and stay healthy, top 10 wide receiver. Better than your boner, Mike Wallace, by far.
I'll tell you
I would have taken him before Wallace anyways. No, don't start rushing it because we're anti your pick.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, that's why it is. All of a sudden you start rolling, we gotta go.
I don't care. Okay, way to reveal the camera. Pull back the GoPro.
GoPros.
Pull back the GoPros. All right, this is a tough one because I already have 3 running backs, but I'm not confident in any single one of them. No, I'm not. Jamal Charles, I'm confident in. Darren McFadden and Ahmad Bradshaw, not so much. I'm not so much confident in Colston either, so this is something I'm really going to have to take I'm going to take another chance on. This is called Team, shit.
Team Aw Shit?
Yeah, Team Aw Shit, pretty much. Team Aw Shit. I'm going to take this is phenomenal. Oh, shit, it's either this or this. Oh, shit. That's what I said. Team Aw Shit. Give me a Vincent Brown. I'm going to take Vincent Brown, and I'm telling you that guy is going to dominate in San Diego this year. They will not throw long. They're going to throw short, and that is what Vincent Brown dominates in. Denario Alexander, if you guys think that he's going to be their top receiver, think again. It's going to be Vincent Brown this year. Besides, Denario Alexander will get injured, so I'll tell you that. And I would have taken him, but I knew he was going to get injured, so I'll take the half-injured guy in a Vincent Brown, which we've had on crutches, by the way.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I love a Vincent Brown this year, by the way.
All right, Team OHIO will close out. We need a tight end.
That's your worst team, though, dog.
And
Team 05 is
totally. Jamal Charles and Aaron Rodgers suck. Brandon Marshall's terrible.
I'm not saying it's a bad team. That's your worst
Marcus
team.
Colston is your number 2.
I'm just saying it's your worst.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. You're right.
So
what do I know?
I need a tight end.
What do we all know?
I'll take Greg Olsen.
Yeah, it's a great pick. Great pick. I thought you should have taken him over a couple of your other tight ends you took, like Cook and Rudolph.
Agreed.
Well, I took him anyway.
You got him, and that just shows weight on him. We went high on tight ends, and you can still get good ones. But I think
PPR, he's definitely
in
better than both
PPR,
those other guys.
you got to go high on Witten, and Vernon Davis is a wide receiver. All right, noon. This is my first team. This is my last pick. What am I gonna do? Do I need a tight end? I do, and you got the one tight end I still liked. Okay, I gotta pick a tight end here. Greg Olsen. That's a good pick. To be honest, Greg Olsen was my 7th.
Yeah, he was my 6th.
Sixth ranked tight end.
He's my 6th as well.
6th ranked tight end. All right, you know what? A guy that I think I'm kind of going to go against it, but it's... You're what?
He's my 7th.
7th?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do here? Just because I think that I don't like this pick really, but because it's PPR, there's a couple guys I have higher on my list, but they're not going to be PPR guys. I'm going to go Brandon Pettigrew.
All right.
I'm going to take Pettigrew just because I think that
Comes PPR?
I think I think he's going to get 6-7 catches a game. He's going to have 13 yards.
On 7 catches.
7 catches,
Exactly.
13 yards.
Hopefully, Jerome Bettis 4 carries, negative, 1 positive yard with 3 touchdowns.
But that's 6 points a game, at least.
Yeah, and to be honest,
When you get the catches, you get the catches.
There's no one else needs tight end, so I can mention it here, or
I
who
need
did his
tight
last name? Okay, there's still some good guys, but I think at PPR,
That's a good one.
he's got the most possibility.
All right, well, Doug, you need a quarterback to close out your draft here.
Wow, a lot of good times.
Correct. So take whatever the fuck you want.
You're
Pretty
up.
much. Oh, it's me.
It's your
Russell
pick.
Wilson. Russell
You need a
Wilson.
quarterback.
Russell Wilson.
Love it.
To me, it's a no.
I thought you were just telling me if you wanted me to make your pick.
No, I thought
Jake,
you
who
want.
Okay, no problem. I'll do Jake Locker for you.
Yeah. No, I thought you were saying it was your pick, and you're like, oh, he needs a quarterback, so I'll do this.
I'll close out the draft, and this is Team GoPro, the Awakening in the NFC North. And I'm going to bring it back to the NFC North. And the reason why I came here, we're going to stay in Green Bay. Jermichael Finley as my tight end.
I've got 7 tight ends.
I don't know if I just puked in my mouth, shat in my pants, or fucking farted. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
You know what? That's fine.
That's terrible.
That's fine. Who's going to take Martellus Bennett instead? I'll still take Finley and the potential that he has. And again, he does play the Bears twice a year, and he does usually score about 3 touchdowns a game against the Bears. So there's
play
6
him for that week, no doubt.
There's 6 touchdowns right there. I got it.
I would have totally taken Tom Crabtree.
So, all right, Tom Crabtree, definitely.
I would have too.
Yeah,
Totally would have taken a Crabtree
over a Finley.
Over a Finley.
Finally.
I got my tight ends that I'd hire were Zach Miller, Martellus Bennett, Keller, Fred Davis, Kobe Fleener, Brandon Myers, Jermaine Gresham, Garrett Graham,
he was
Kellen Winslow, then Jermichael Finley.
He's still number 10 on my list now. With the injury to Pitta, he's still number 10 on my list.
I love it.
He's got
Draft's
talent.
over.
He's got better talent than those
Draft's
guys.
over. All right, so we're at 2 hours, guys. So we got about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. I'm not going to go crazy on it, but let's review some of these teams.
Let's talk
I think
about it.
there's some great teams. We all don't feel the same way about players, and that's what makes our website great. But let's review. We can all tell a good team when we see one.
Yep.
All right, Houdini, your first team. Let's look at the GoPros.
Even with Jermichael Finley, you got to like the rest of the team.
Yeah, I do.
Cam Newton is your starting quarterback. Adrian Peterson, Chris Johnson, Stephen Ridley, Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, Dwayne Bowe.
My only worries about that great team. This team's ridiculous. Dwayne Bowe that late, and Finley. You're right. When you get him that late, it's a good pick. But my worry about that was I think you went high on Ridley. I think there's a lot of talent left on the board.
Well, Ridley
there.
could have been a 3rd-round pick, but I wouldn't let Chris Johnson have the satisfaction of being a 3rd-round pick.
Either way, I think
being a 2nd-round pick, which is why I took him in the 3rd
Exactly.
round. It was for his ego, not for Ridley's. Boosting him up.
I think he might have slipped back to that pick again.
No way I would have gotten Steven Ridley coming back.
Listen,
I don't know. I wasn't taking him.
No way.
Fact of the matter is, you have a great flex position in that one. You have 3 running backs that are studs.
And 3 wide receivers.
And 3 wide receivers.
Correct.
I'm not a big fan of the fact that 2 of them are on Green Bay.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to choose.
That was my other
But again,
you're going to have to choose between one or the other every single week.
No, I'm not. Those two would start every week.
Over Dwayne Bowe?
Yes.
Wait till you see what happens with Dwayne Bowe.
You did not listen to me when I said it during the draft. The philosophy behind this pick was I have Adrian Peterson who's going to give me insane points from a running back position as long as he stays healthy. I'm assuming everyone stays healthy. I got Chris Johnson, who's basically my number 2, no matter what, every week, because he's going to give me 5 to 6 weeks where he's going to win me the week because he's going to go off. He's going to give me duds also.
I don't know about 5 or 6.
I'm going with the 2 running wide receivers from Green Bay because I know at least one of them is going to go off each week, and I need guaranteed points out of that wide receiver position. And not to say that the other one of them could not go off.
But you're getting guaranteed no points out of the other wide receivers.
No, you're not getting guaranteed no points.
More so than if you went on another team.
You could be getting 7 or 8 points. You could be getting 5 catches for 78 yards.
I'll tell you right now.
The other guy's getting 10 catches for 142.
I'd rather have Randall Cobb and Hakeem Nicks than Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson.
Well, that's fine. You know what? It's a strategy.
And I love Jordy Nelson.
Listen, here's what we should be doing. We should be keeping track of these things.
I got it written down.
No.
We'll
keep track of these things throughout the season and see what the fantasy points are and actually see how these teams did.
I'd rather have Randall Cobb and Dwayne Bowe and have a backup at a different position.
If you have someone ranked and you say this is the 8th best receiver in the league or the 12th and this is the 13th, if I have them both and they're on the same team, it shouldn't matter. They're the 12th and the 13th best receiver based on what you think the receivers are going to do. So that means
they can't both have. But the 14th wide receiver can have a big game every week, irregardless of the every other.
So then I can shoot down your Julio Jones as an earlier pick. Again, we believe what we believe. We know, even though Roddy.
But
White's
I didn't draft Roddy White.
I know, but even though Roddy White's
that's a different thing. That's what we're talking about.
All right, well that's
what we're talking about.
I'm still believing in it because it was still the best 2 guys on the board at the time. And again, there's only 2 wide receivers I got to start. If something happens, if that determines to be the case, I have Dwayne Bowe.
I think you were right. I think Dwayne Bowe is good call. But anyway,
none of you would start Dwayne Bowe over Randall Cobb or Jordy Nelson. So don't tell me that's a good pick.
If I were on the same team,
the good pick is to have him as the backup.
I just
you wouldn't go into every week and go, okay, I have to pick one of these 2.
Hey.
No, I'm starting both because I want to know one of them is going to go off. Not that I'm going to pick the wrong one.
All right, your team's right. Dog.
It's all right. I just wouldn't have taken the 2 on the same team. All right, the second team. What do I got?
Doug
I got
Martin,
a Russell
Ray Rice.
Wilson, a Doug Martin, and a Ray Rice. I'm a big fan of that start right
This is a team where you took 3 running backs out of the gate. You got Lamar Miller as well.
Lamar Miller as my flex.
A Percy Harvin injury and the Andre Johnson.
Lamar Miller is going to be the man on a team that everybody is going to think is going to be a passing team. Because they have a Mike Wallace now. They got a Dustin Keller. They got their...
Lamar Miller is a great pick there. So was Chris Johnson. I think I think we all got good 4th round.
But they're dynamic 3rd running backs. That's why they're really good in those positions.
Now what happens if Percy Harvin isn't healthy? I got the Cecil Shorts to back that up.
Yeah.
So I have Andre Johnson.
With the injury,
Shorts isn't a PPR guy.
The only factor,
but he will be this year because Justin Blackman isn't the guy.
Here's the fact on this draft. Based on Percy Harvin's perceived injury, you could have got him at the end of the draft.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Disagree.
I'm sorry to say,
but you guys don't know as much about Percy Harvin as I do. He's going to be fine.
That's fine, but
I hate to say it. I don't know if you guys just didn't read enough or whatever, but I'm telling you, he's fine. He really is. He's absolutely fine.
All right, well,
I'm telling you, if they don't find
let's hope that he is fine because I haven't been in the keeper league.
If they don't find a tear tomorrow,
I'm holding my breath. Okay, man. They told him he tore his labrum in his hip.
Okay,
that's a concern.
You guys took chances on certain guys. If they say that he doesn't have a tear in the hip tomorrow,
I'm just saying you could have got
playing
a
the whole year.
trainer.
He's fine.
I'm just saying you could.
So I got a gem.
You're both
of a
right.
pick.
You're both right there. Well, the one thing I will say is Percy Harvin, and you guys brought this to my attention before we even started recording. Percy Harvin is injured right now. We haven't played one game. That's not a good thing for a Percy Harvin. This is a guy that only played 7 games last year. He's always injured. He's always banged up, and if he plays every game, it's like Nicks, it's like Bolden over the years, it's like a lot of guys. If they're banged up, they're not at 100%, they're not going to deliver the goods like they can. And, it's just Arian Foster, banged up right now. Not a good thing. It's just, there's certain guys that are about to get injured or are injured, and if they're already injured right now, it's Trubs. Anyway, next pick is going to be, our next team is going to be...
Oh, and the tight end, by the way, on that team is Antonio Gates, which I love.
Yeah, I love that.
They are doing an offense which is geared towards throwing it short, which will go to Vincent Brown and Antonio Gates all day long. Do not be high on Denario Alexander this year. Do not be high on Malcolm Floyd. It's going to be Woodhead. It's going to be Antonio Gates, and it's going to be Vincent Brown all day long in that offense.
All right, the Wiener for Mayor, powered by Snapchat team is going to be Spiller, Fitzgerald, David Wilson, Amendola, Welker, both the Texas Tech guys. I got RG3, got Rashard Mendenhall, and Brandon Pettigrew. You know what? I really like this team because, one, I like the team a lot. I like the players on it. But it's a lot of explosion. I think there's a lot of slow and steadiness. I think it's a pretty well-rounded team.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it. Yeah, no, that's a very
David Wilson could fumble in the first play of the first game and be a total D-bag, but I think the rest, and Welker isn't going to be Welker like he's been for the last 3 years.
You have your explosion factor, and you have your PPR guys as well to complement it. I think it's really nice. I like it a lot.
Right.
Now, my next team, Team Ohio, OHIO.
And actually, real quick, if you guys wouldn't mind, can we list them in order of QB, RB, wide receiver, flex? And then tight end and the rest.
Sure.
Instead of in order of where you draft them.
Yeah.
So, Team OHIO, I think this is not necessarily my best team, but I think this is a very steady team. I think this is a team that is never going to put up like 40 points. They're always going to be putting up good points each week. You got Matthew Stafford at quarterback, Trent Richardson, Maurice Jones-Drew, AJ Green, Victor Cruz, and my choice of either Mike Wallace or DeMarco Murray at the flex, and Greg Olsen at the tight end.
Oh, I like that team.
To me, it's by far your best team.
Yeah, I love that team. That's a great team. You have
it's steady points every week for sure. No matter what. It's
not just steady points every week, but that's good PPR as well. The flex position maybe not so much, but you love the DeMarco Murray actually makes up for it. I like that. Oh, that's good stuff. That's a very good team that you got right there. That's a winner. All right. My second team here, and we're looking at Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback, which of course is a great cornerstone. But the rest of it is very iffy, of course. Jamal Charles, love him to death. Obviously, I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be a PPR giant. Darren McFadden, obviously.
There's question marks with health.
Huge question marks, obviously. Brandon Marshall, love it. I think he's still going to be a PPR, even though it's going to be spread out a little bit. I still love that he's going to be a PPR giant. Marquise Colston, I know you guys didn't even have him on your boards, but I'm telling you, the guy's been still a PPR giant, more than you guys even know.
Well, again, he's in an offense that throws perennially now for the past couple of years for 5,000 yards. Mm-hmm. So, there are yards to be had in that offense.
Plain and simple. Otherwise, I get a...
Ahmad Bradshaw is the one that kind of concerns me. It's one of those ones that is taking a chance. And the worry that I have with this team is that you have Darren McFadden, who's a chance number one, and then Ahmad Bradshaw being a chance number two.
Agreed.
So if both of those two don't work out, it's like then it's all done.
This team hasn't been named. I'm going to call this team Team Jenga. This is
someone's pulling out
this
a thing
each where it's like
that's a good one. I like that.
For this team, if all we talked about this last week, if all the stars align, this is a team that like people on paper will be like whatever, and you'll get lit up by just lit up where you're just like that's his best team, blah blah, and you're just like, how did I just lose 180 to 68? But there are a lot of pieces of the puzzle that could fall out of place, and the team's in troubles.
Yep.
But it's got a great foundation with Rodgers, and there's a lot of... You went explosion at the running back, which I tend to like to do.
Yeah.
Cool team. It's a cool team.
Cool. What's next?
All right, Suck My Wake. This is my second team, and it's Calvin Johnson. That's right. Got Colin Kaepernick. You guys know how I feel about him. Calvin Johnson and Julio Jones are going to be my wide receivers. I got to start with the best. And then my running backs are going to be Sproles, PPR Maven, as well as Giovanni Bernard, who I'm high on. I think he's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Backup kind of stuff there is Bolden and Hakeem Nicks. I think those guys are, and Witten. I guess Witten at tight end is.
Well, Witten's your tight end, so your flex is either Bolden or Nicks.
And I would say,
I would say Nicks is probably more if he's healthy than Bolden, who you took 2 rounds earlier.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. If Nicks can stay healthy, and he's a guy that people just tend to stay away from, and I think his ADP, even in any draft, is going to be much higher. Much lower than what he's going to produce. Again, if he gets banged up and breaks his foot and does the whole shit that he seems to always do, throw it all out the window.
He's also got Reuben Randall crawling up his ass.
He does, but this guy's
awesome.
He's a contract year, and I think some nice stuff. But again, no one's bitch slapped all of us more.
What's
than
the bench? What's the last guy you have?
Well, that's it.
Bolden or Nicks.
My
running backs are
only got 2 running backs so far.
Got you. Okay.
So if we were to go on in the 9, I would probably do what we talked about before.
You need to handcuff your running backs.
Well, I would start, not necessarily handcuffing, but just start. I would go on a run with running
go with depth of position.
There's some guys I think I've upset.
There are. There's absolutely guys out. Ryan Matthews is still out there.
Right.
Who I don't
like. But still, he's still out there.
Another injury.
Shane Vereen's still out there.
So, Team Smash Mouth. This is truly the. You guys thought the other one was my best team. This one could be my best team, but this is definitely my consistent points every week. I'm not going to get beat by just falling on my ass each week. Quarterback Peyton Manning. Running backs, Marshawn Lynch, Steven Jackson.
Nice.
Wide receivers, Roddy White, Vincent Jackson.
Nice.
Flex position, Frank Gore, and Kyle Rudolph at the tight end.
Worst PPR team I've ever heard, but
doesn't matter necessarily.
But a very consistent team.
Yeah, it's a good team.
An incredible team in a regular league.
Let's be serious about one thing. While we all love PPR, and I've been playing PPR longer than both of you two.
True.
One thing I will tell you is, you want to know what matters? Touchdowns.
Agreed.
Forget about fucking PPR and don't get skewed. Touchdowns. You always go for touchdowns over PPR.
Agreed.
Because it takes, think about it.
But there's
half a point per PPR. Takes 12 catches
we said this
to equal 1 touchdown.
No, we said this is going to be a 1 point PPR.
It's 1 point PPR.
We're doing
it's 1 point PPR. 6 to 1.
Still?
6 points to 1.
Still.
No question. I think that's a stout team. There's no question.
Love it. Hey, I love it. All right. So we're going to my last team here. I love my start with a Drew Brees at a quarterback. You can't go wrong there. The guy's consistent as shit. He's going to give me points no matter what. I love my LaShawn McCoy as well. That guy's a PPR giant this year. I guarantee it. He's been a PPR giant in the past. But in this type of offense, believe me, Chip Kelly's, especially with Macklin going down, the guy is going to be a PPR giant. Le'Veon Bell.
Big pick.
This is well. You're actually your next 2 picks because you're 2 running backs right here.
Yeah, I got Le'Veon Bell and Chris Ivory as my flex position there. Le'Veon Bell went to Michigan State. I went to Michigan State.
Right.
And I watched him throughout his career, obviously. And the guy is a beast. He can run over people, and he can break off, runs
All
to the outside.
I'm saying is that you have the unknown factor here.
And it is the unknown factor.
And
it's the Pittsburgh offense that I love for him.
But there's nothing wrong. Unknown's great.
No, and that's what I want to back you up here. And here's the other thing. You're talking about 2 teams. You're talking about the Jets, and you're talking about the Steelers. These are not 2 teams that are known as passing teams.
Exactly.
Okay? And even though Roethlisberger is there, Roethlisberger is really not a major passing guy, and Mike Wallace is gone now. So, again, they brought in the Le'Veon Bell. They've been trying to replace Jerome Bettis ever since he's been gone, and they haven't been able to do it. So, they're looking.
A team like that, here's what I would say. I like this team, dog, but in hindsight, I think you should have not taken LaShawn McCoy with the second and gone with an elite talent at the wide receiver position, and then stuck around later and get that.
I took Des Bryant.
No, I know. But after I would have said, what I'm saying is, you could almost.
You could have got Le'Veon Jones with Des Bryant.
Yeah, I like Le'Veon Bell and Ivory as a running back, and just could blow up in your face. But to be honest, could be amazing. where you go early on a wide receiver after Dez too, because if that team didn't have LaShawn McCoy and had an elite wide receiver there,
but again,
it would to me feel like instead of Jennings or Torrey Smith at the end, I feel like
but again, it's
that's all I'm saying. Who knows?
But it's the same feel that you will get with your other team with Calvin and Julio. That you're waiting on those running backs, and now you're banking on your knowledge. You're banking on, I am so smart that I waited on all the top guys because these two guys are going to do great.
But there's a reason, because there's a reason why
I know. But what
McCoy
I'm saying
gets injured,
here's one
and
of the
I
things.
think the other guys.
Let me tell you this: the guys who are successful and always win championships are the guys who are drafting the Chris Ivorys and the Le'Veon Bells as their third running back, and then they end up becoming their second or first running back before the end of the season. Not the guys who are drafting them, waiting and grabbing all the other talent and going, "I'm so smart," because it never works that way. It's just in all the years.
He does have a point there.
17 years ago, I've seen this go on. I
completely disagree with that.
Because it doesn't always work out.
Doesn't always work out.
It's smart.
It's a harder proposition.
It's tougher to make it happen.
The odds are stacked against you when you go that route.
But you're comparing
that. There are better odds of finding. Here's the reason. There are better odds of finding a gem at wide receiver in the 25 to 30 range who can jump up to 14 to 15 to 12 to 10 than there are in the running back range.
Completely disagree with you. Completely disagree with you. You're proving wrong every single season.
There are so many wide receivers who make huge jumps every year.
But you're still getting wide receiver 4 points.
Let's wrap this up because we're going to go to 3 hours.
See, this is what you do. Every time when we're talking, when I disagree, you point at the time. What happens at running back, though, is you do get a top 5 guy that is at the very end with the high top points, where you're comparing it to wide receivers where a guy jumps up and he only has 90 points for the season. Whereas the guy that jumps up that was the 28th running back still gets 220 points. It's like night and day.
It's the points factor.
It's the points factor.
That's fine. If you think
I know it. I do it every year.
All right, fine.
And I get the championships every year.
That's fine. And you know what? And I get in championships every year too, and I make the playoffs every single year. And the running back situation works very well for me. There's always depth in 25 to 35, 45 in wide receiver, and half of those guys end up being, or 4 or 5 of the guys that are in the 30 range end up being into the top 15 range. So
I'm excited for us to look at this stuff.
As a conglomerate, we get into the top 6 in the nation every year.
Yeah, because of this. Because of
fierce arguments and disagreements.
And these battles that we do for our final picks are pretty hardcore. Like this, so it's a reason. There's a reason why this passion carries over and works. You'll
see it happen very soon.
But this is great to have for all these mock drafts where I've got them written down, you've got them written down. We're going to look back at them quarterly. Let's look at this stuff and see how it plays out. Because this is draft strategy extraordinaire. All of us are taking different approaches. No one knows which works. It doesn't work the same every year. But you can jump onto the back of who you think is taking the approach that you should as well.
Yep.
All right. So my third team is going to be Bananas Foster. I went Arian Foster, who's a guy that I wouldn't have really done there. I got to do quarterback. Tom Brady.
Last pick.
Tom Brady, my last pick. That just shows you. Quarterbacks, you can wait.
You can get that.
Guys that weren't drafted in this league. Obviously, they would have if we kept going. Tony Romo, Andrew Luck, Mike Vick, Eli Manning, not undrafted.
Wow. Just what happens.
Does anyone have more talent at all specialty positions than Tony Romo? No. The answer is no.
I would have probably actually taken Romo over Brady.
I shit you not. As I was.
Yeah.
I probably would too.
I almost took him over Russell Wilson.
I probably would have too.
Last pick
yeah. No, absolutely. I probably would have too. If it comes down to it in real drafts, I might take a Romo over Brady. But right now, I'm gonna think Amendola and his clavicles last. All right, Brady. We got Arian Foster and Monty Ball are my running backs. I got Jimmy Graham as my tight end. Then my wide receivers are Garcon, Reggie Wayne, and Antonio Brown. Here's the beauty. Who knows if I'm going to use even an Antonio Brown or a Gronkowski as my flex. I've got I could have a 2 tight end flex situation there.
But as we talked about, I like that. If you're going to have Jimmy Graham and you're able to get Rob Gronkowski 4 rounds later, that's phenomenal. So, and again, because if Gronkowski comes back, we know that this guy's got he catches touchdowns like crazy. So that becomes one of the more interesting flexes of all time.
Yeah. If Gronkowski and
it's probably the best flex I've ever heard of. Actually,
but at the very
I would kill to have my flex as a
But here's the benefit in the flex league. No matter what, he's guaranteed if he comes back and is healthy, you have huge trade bait. You have trade bait and abundant trade bait. When I was saying the problems I had with the three strong wide receivers, it's not like that with tight end. You only need to start at one. And if it's a guy who's the clear-cut number 2 and you own the number 1, all you're saying to them is, why do I need to let the number 2 go out on the open market when I can keep those points away from me? I will trade him to you, but you're going to have to pay me for him.
And I love what you say also. If Gronkowski, if they're smart and he's banged up at all, and they sit him for the first 6 weeks, I don't need him.
Right,
Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown can go. You got Graham already starting. Antonio Brown's my flex.
Right.
And then when he comes back, it's like, all right, good time to wait.
Right.
All right, Team 10, last team for Houdini. And then
I like this team. I love this team too. So I got Matt Ryan as my quarterback, who I got in the 7th round. I got Alfred Morris and Matt Forte as my starting running backs.
Wow.
I got Demaryius Thomas, and I will decide between, because I took him in the wraparound, Deshaun Jackson or Steve Smith as to who I start each week. My flex at this point in time will be Reggie Bush in that high-flying Detroit offense. And I got Jared Cook at tight end. So
this might be your best team.
I have a lot of good teams.
This might be your team.
And again,
4 or 10 are your best teams. This is a solid team.
Well, yeah, 4 and 10, but you don't like the Cam Newton, Adrian Peterson, Chris Johnson, Jordy Nelson.
All
right, let's close it down.
All right, so there we go. 10-man standard with PPR and flex. Houdini, well done. You got the 4 picks on that one.
Yeah.
Dogmatica, you and I got the 3 picks. These teams, we will post these along with the with this podcast. Amen, guys. Thanks for listening. We're at 2 hours and 20 minutes. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
We won't have to cut this in half, but I think for anybody listening, you can see why this is a good podcast. I'm going to be changing my tiers based on looking at a lot of these teams and what I went through on this one.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.